Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Game Informer Show. I'm Ben Hansen, joined by Dan Tack.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game Informer Show, the coolest place on earth.
And Jeff Cork, take it away.
What he said.
Thank you for hosting Cork last week. That was very sweet. I really got a kick out of listening to that episode.
Hey, it occupied a space in the feed, and it's free.
There are no ads, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't be more free. I loved listening to it. A lot of people wrote in saying they love Back of the Disc. One person wrote in saying, well, Cork was really good, but Hansen is more theatrical because of his theater background. I was like, man, I've never
Your
done
theater background.
I might be more dramatic.
Oh, Bill Shakespeare.
Theater background.
Never
Very
anything
cool.
of the sort. Leo Vader in the booth, by the way.
Hi.
Was it a kick in the pants fun last week for you, Leo?
It was a rollicking good time.
Oh, that's so great. I'm glad you guys had fun with that.
Yeah.
This episode. Oh, yeah.
Real quick,
Yeah.
we should issue not a correction, but Ben Reeves wanted to make it clear that the Back of the Disc trivia was Joe Juba's idea.
Reeves says it's the opposite. He was quite pissy about it, but that's very good. Anyways, this show, Borderlands 3. Hot and heavy,
Ooh,
folks. We're going
yeah.
to talk about it.
Guns.
Now's the time. Link's Awakening, the opposite of guns.
Yeah.
The
as a
Windfish.
concept. Oh, Dan Tack,
This is
bring
one
it
game
in.
you won't want to sleep on.
And
Yes.
Blasphemous, Dan Tack wanted to talk about.
I did. I think it deserves a note.
All right, there it was. And then, Leo, you want to talk about Red Dead Online?
I really do.
Hell yeah. Dan went to PAX. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Apple's big announcements. Reiner is excited about Greedfall. Greedfall is the name of this game. Tokyo Game Show, we have some stuff to cover, not everything, but we'll dive in and really gush about Final Fantasy VII, which I don't know if you've heard the music in Final Fantasy VII's remix, Cork, but it's unbelievable. All right, for now, Borderlands 3. Matt Miller reviewed it. The review is on the site. Matt Miller is currently not in the office. He's at home reviewing Daemon X Machina, actually, of all things, which is exciting.
He's a busy boy.
On the Switch. But Borderlands 3, he gave an 8 out of 10. You guys played some with him?
So me and Cork played as assists on this.
Yes.
Sometimes when we get a game where it requires multiplayer to really get a sense of it,
Yes.
a couple of us will get called in to be assists on that project.
Crack team.
Nice. So did you guys all play in the same room? Did you play online? What's the
No, we
setup?
don't interact at all. This
Right.
is what the whole point of a multiplayer
Yeah.
assistant, Hansen.
We wanted to try the real multiplayer capabilities, so it was all online. We
Okay.
used voice chat. I don't know if you've heard about this,
This
to
is
communicate
interesting.
with each other.
Did you guys have a good time with the game?
I did for what it is. And
For
I
what
don't-
it is.
I don't want to be. This is like the most stupid statement ever, and you should check out Miller's review and everything else that he said about it.
But the floor is
and
all yours, Dan Tack.
It is, and I'm just gonna say, if you like Borderlands 2, you will like this game.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is not a review of the game. That doesn't really tell you what it
Right.
is, but it kind of does. It really is. It felt like to me, and granted, me and Cork probably don't have nearly as many hours in as Miller. I didn't complete the campaign or anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that with friends when it launches.
Okay.
It feels, it feels like they knew that they had a missed opportunity with Battleborn, and like, let's just play it safe. Let's give everybody what they say they want, which is more Borderlands. That's what this is. It's more Borderlands, for better or worse.
And I guess, yes, I hear you. Play it safe when not too many games are like Borderlands, and that community is so passionate about it and just is craving more of that experience. Like, I can't really fault them for doing that. Like, a lot of
can't.
people are going to have a very good time with this game. Like, I was just at the GameStop Managers Conference, and we were signing posters, like big shots, and GameStop managers were coming through, and everyone was so sweet. But I would always ask, like, what are people asking about in the stores? What are people asking about in the stores? Number one by an effing mile, Borderlands 3. Like, I think this game is going to sell bananas.
I think so too. It because and maybe it's okay that it played it safe. Maybe it's not super great for me because I wanted something other than catch a ride and collect guns.
Right.
Maybe just one new tweak or perk, but no, it plays it really close to the hilt, and
Yeah.
that's great for a Borderlands fan.
Jeff Cork,
Yes, sir.
There's new stuff. You're traveling to different planets. You can slide, vault, stuff like that. Not just vault hunting anymore. Did you have a good time playing this game?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Tax said. I think my biggest complaint with it is that they throw a lot of guns at you, but it's still, in my opinion, I never found a way to efficiently go through and sort through what was valuable. Like, you're running around on the floor looking at things and then trying to align the HUD so that you can kind of get a decent idea of what all the specs were. It felt clunky.
They're based on colors, like the rarity.
What?
What game did that?
Playing on a black and white TV at home.
Yeah, I only see in black and white also. Yeah, no, I understand that. But yeah, there's like a certain enemy that drops like a ton of guns, and I found after a while where I'm like, at best the things I'm getting are incremental improvements. Most of the time it's just a common lamer version of what I already have equipped. So then it kind of almost becomes a chore when you see like, oh, there's 40 things on the ground I've got to walk over, align my camera, my viewpoint so I can see everything and then whatever. But
Right.
like I said, a lot of people really like Borderlands 2, and it's probably going to be a game for people who are like, hey, I don't play a lot of games. You know, I had a great time with this in college or whatever with my buddies. It'll be nice to reconnect with them and play some Borderlands.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree with that. Like the inventory management seemed like a chore. I would love something like a loot filter.
Absolutely.
Just to say this is a higher eye level item or a higher rarity item. That's the only thing that's going to show up for me.
Yes.
Because otherwise, and again, after a big boss kill, it was often a chore of like, all right, I'm going to go dump half my basket in the other half of the room just so I can like pick up and analyze all these pieces of loot. And I know there's some people, especially in the Borderlands community, that want to do that.
Yeah,
they
want to
be like, all right, this one is 0.5% better.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I get that. That's fine. But like, I don't want to dig through I spent a lot of time digging through my bag when I should be shooting stuff.
Right. Joke as the resident funny man in the office. Sorry, Leo. How are the jokes?
Oh no.
Well, you had to go there.
Yeah, I don't think it's very funny, but humor is very subjective.
Is it obnoxious?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grating.
Yes.
Okay. Dan, was it grating for you?
It did not resonate with me, and I don't think it has to for you to enjoy the game. I want to make that very clear. But yeah, the jokes, they felt ham-fisted, really Borderlands 2, trying to be edgy, and that's the brand, right? So okay, I get it. Go with it. You know what? It says a lot when I think Claptrap was one of the least offensive characters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It feels like and it probably is true to some degree. Like, it is a game created by Borderlands 2 fans, whether or not those people worked on Borderlands 2 in the first place, or they were just people who've gotten into the industry or have moved in from other studios to work on Borderlands 2.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like we're doing a lot of hand-wringing here, but I don't think it's as funny as the second one was.
Okay.
I know the second one was fairly divisive. Some people thought it leaned too much on meme humor and that kind of thing, but I don't know. There's some characters that are like, there's like a character in there fairly early on who's ostensibly English, but it just sounds like someone was put on the spot and said, oh, could you take another shot at that line? But now she's English. And the person's like, okay, crikey.
Okay.
Oi.
Yeah, and it wasn't to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm offended by what they're saying.
Yeah, of course
it's
not.
just like these jokes are not landing for me.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just
But they try.
swing and a miss.
Yeah. I regret we should have tried to get Paul Sage on the podcast. He's an interesting guy. He's also the creative director for Elder Scrolls Online, and then he shifted over. Now he's the creative director for Borderlands 3. That guy's had an interesting journey through the game industry. Because I would love to hear what he feels like is his personal stamp on this. Because it's interesting to have a new creative director and then still feel like it's very much in line with the past.
I would love to listen to that because
I would too.
talked to Paul at Gamescom and he's great.
Oh, really? Oh, good. Right on. Okay, Borderlands 3, 8.0 reviews on the site. Look, if you're into it, and you're going to have a great time with it.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to say, like, I concur with that score.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it and enjoy it, but I'm a mild Borderlands fan, so I know what this game is, and I know what I'm going into it. It's going to be a game I play with friends and then put it down.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Link's Awakening, a game you can't play with friends, but everybody in the game is your friend.
It's true.
Cork, you are playing a lot of this. Dan Tech, you played a little bit at PAX,
I did.
right?
Yeah,
what did you
played,
play
one
at
I got to
dungeon?
play through a whole dungeon, the third dungeon, the Key Cavern.
Okay.
So I get through that whole thing. You get the dash boots in there.
Yep.
You do dash jumps. You get to kill a big slime guy at the end. You know, cut him
That's
in
the one
half.
that splits in half.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I know you're a Link to the Past fan, right, Dan?
Absolutely.
Are you a Link's Awakening fan as well?
Yeah, one of my favorite. Obvious. I mean, if you like Link to the Past, you probably like Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
It's not too far of a stretch.
Yeah. Did you have a good time with it? What
I
struck
did.
you?
I did. You know, playing at a show at a show demo is various degrees of having a good time. Just in general,
Sure.
like that's not the way you want to play a game, right? But I had fun with it, and I was initially when they showed Link's Awakening, the new one, I was like, what the hell is with these cutesy graphics, right? So I didn't know.
Butch Link.
Yeah, right. I didn't know how that was going to resonate with me when had the product in hand, right? And you know what? It didn't bother me at that point. So I'm like, okay, cool. These skeletons are a little aesthetically cute, and there's like some Mario crap in here.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Maybe your skeleton's cute, Dan. We just don't know yet.
We'll find out in about 20 years, I'd wager.
Wow.
Mark your calendars.
I had a good time with it. It feels and plays like a great old school Zelda game, which is what I'm into.
Yeah. Jeff Cork, do you concur?
I love it so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Link's Awakening is like, I think the Zelda series, there's always a temptation to be like, okay, rank your favorite, whatever. I think my favorite Zelda's games are different enough that it doesn't feel like.
It's weird to put Link's Awakening against Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm
But
completely with you.
it holds such a like near and dear spot to me. Just
Yeah.
I love that original game.
To the
And-
point that like you were calling me over to look at screenshots you took while you're playing the new Link's Awakening. You're like, look how good this is. Look how good this is. And it's just like the simple, charming stuff of like the person in the village in the beginning is like, hey, I'm gonna get lost in the forest later. Come rescue me.
Yeah.
Like just breaking the fourth wall in the opposite of the style of Borderlands 3, right? It's just like
Exactly.
this subtle, cute, beautiful way of just realizing what it is and having fun with it.
It is so wholesome overall,
Yes.
and I just love the tone and how weird it is. Mm-hmm. And I think in a lot of ways it was really ahead of its time, but at the same time, like the dungeon designs are so good, and I love them.
Oh, really? So you don't get the sense that they've changed puzzles or...
No, it is a remarkably faithful adaptation of the original game.
Yeah.
The biggest difference is when you're navigating around in the overworld in particular, it's like a smooth scrolling thing rather than like going to the edge of like the boundary and then it like zooms over, kind of like classic Zelda.
Right.
So it's like a continuously scrolling. But I mean, like as far as you're still on an invisible grid to some degree. So when you shovel, you could see where the boxes are essentially.
Yeah. What has struck you playing through the game again, essentially, then, other than like, oh, it's cute as hell? Is there a point where you're like, oh, the puzzle design is more frustrating than I remember, or
I
like
think
the map layout or anything?
It holds up so well, I
Yeah.
think. And then, like, I've gone back and looked at some videos from the original too, just to be like, this. I think a lot of times we say when we're playing games that are like a remaster or a remake of a game, you're like, oh, this is how I remember it looking.
Right.
But I think Link's Awakening, the remake, it's better than I remember it looking in so many ways. And I think, I think the dungeons are so smart and they're so fun, and the puzzles are like, they don't really get frustrating ever, which is, I think it's really the pinnacle in some ways of dungeon design for the Zelda series.
Oh, wow.
yeah, and I think the bosses are super fun and interesting and weird.
They're all so different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I remember we had a fun discussion 1 million years ago, actually, about this exact spot. I think we did it like in 2011. It was you and Dan Reichert and I talking and debating about Link's Awakening because Dan was playing through it and he was really frustrated by it.
Yeah.
I always remember this one point where he's like, I played every Zelda, and in Link's Awakening is the only one where the solution to a puzzle is to throw a pot at a door and it unlocks it.
That's actually the entrance of the dungeon that I
oh,
went to.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it as frustrating as Dummy Dan Reichert remembers?
That one's not, because like the doors,
There's an icon on it that has a pot.
it really could not be clearer. It's it has a picture of a pot on it.
Wow. Okay. So the official
So
dumb
maybe
stamp.
this is the version that he should have played. Maybe, maybe that didn't translate well
Right.
on the monochromatic
That
Game
could
Boy
be.
screen or whatever.
The music.
Yes.
I love Link's Awakening's music. I was a little turned off by what I've heard so far in the remake. It feels very kind of like bare bones. I don't know if I wanted like a full symphonic take of like Tall Heights, but how's it struck you?
I like it. Yeah,
Okay.
I have
It's
not
simple.
put it on mute. Yeah, it's very simple, but I think there are enough discrete zones that have their own soundscapes to where it doesn't really get super repetitive.
Yeah.
I think the only time that it might be is like early on. There's a scene that happens in the village, and there's some frantic music because there's some real drama going down, and that loop is pretty tight.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite character in Link's Awakening?
Favorite character in Link's Awakening.
If you say Link, I'm going to throw you out of this effing office.
He's freaking adorable, though. Have you seen that amiibo?
It's very adorable.
That amiibo is so good.
Yeah, you're rubbing it against your skin like it was a little puppy dog.
My cheek.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You weirdo.
butt cheek.
Leo, help.
It's like the Matrix or shouting for help from Trinity.
Help.
Okay, sorry. Favorite character.
Favorite character? It's a boss. I like the clown.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Gator
bottle.
guy or something, or like
The
the
Gator
phone
guy's
call
very
guy
cool.
or any of those guys.
Maybe the hippo who says "Go away," who's being painted by the gator. She's a very deep character.
It's very
The,
cool.
Sums it all up.
Can you talk about the build your own dungeon stuff yet?
I don't know if I can.
Okay, it was in a bunch of early builds. People have played with it before. Are you intrigued by it? Are you into it?
That is an element that some people will probably like. It doesn't do a whole lot for me.
All right,
I think
there it is.
because what it's doing is it's pulling from rooms that you've navigated through. You unlock them as you beat dungeons.
Yeah.
And you can rearrange them and have like, oh, I like this room from this area and this one from another one. But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't seem like it adds anything new.
Sure.
But
Cool. So the game's out. Oh, it's September 21st.
it's 20th or 21st. Yeah.
Okay.
20th?
Okay. I'm very excited about it. And your review's not ready, but you could not be having a better time with this remake.
I love it so much.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
I love
It
hearing that,
is a
man.
great game that will make you happy. It's
Yeah,
just a really
but
pleasant.
That sounds great to
experience.
me.
$60. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That sounds so good. I can't wait.
Yeah. Plus, if you're like a big Dan Reichert style idiot, you can look online. I'm sure there's solutions for all the puzzles because
Yeah.
they're all old.
Yeah, we love Dan, but come on. What are you going to do?
Just the worst.
Yep. Leo Vader.
Hi.
Oh, welcome. Welcome
What's
to
up?
the big show. Somehow Leo's actually grown to be 8 feet tall
Yeah.
in the booth, and he's continuing to grow like a Clifford the Big Red Dog situation. Leo, Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
Did they finally do the biggie and release the biggie DLC here?
They did the biggie.
Oh, wow. What is this?
That's more official stance. Back in May, they came out of beta, but this feels way more like a relaunch of the game than hitting 1.0 or whatever did.
Is there a name?
The Frontier Pursuits update.
That's a bad name.
Yeah. Well, they added 3 new roles that are their Frontier Pursuits. So you can be a bounty hunter, a collector, a trader, or all 3 simultaneously.
Oh, interesting. So what's the biggest difference then? I know you've been playing a heap and help into this game to begin with, but what are they shifting up here?
The biggest difference is they completely changed the controls.
What?
It's the same controls, but the movement and the combat, it feels like, here's the highest praise I can give. It feels now like a third-person shooter instead of like a Rockstar game.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Combat is way easier now.
Is it an option in the menu I take it between
No.
good and bad controls? Oh, really? It's just a default blanket thing.
Yes, and it's still perfect. I call it perfect animation style in the story mode.
Yeah.
You know, because you're taking the gun off your back and you see every frame of it, and it looks perfect, and you pick up the bodies to loot them. But in online, you're like just picking up loot immediately, and your gun teleports to your hand. Like, it's totally different.
That's a really smart,
Yeah.
bold move on their part.
Yeah. What's up?
Leo, pick me.
Hey,
I got a
Clark.
question. Is there any kind of change to the controls in the campaign? Like, can you toggle that there?
No,
That was an easy answer.
Cork. That's what I was just saying.
You said that you still had those controls, but you didn't say you did not have the option of changing them. which
Yeah, I wish
my-
it was toggleable for sure.
Thank you.
But it's
Apology
not.
accepted.
Because in online, honestly, it feels like a turning point for
Yeah?
the game. Because it used to be just this very slow experience where you kind of made your own objectives, and now it's like I'm almost in a rush to do everything.
So on
A
the
bit of a
subject
gun
of
rush.
turning points, can you make your character spin really fast in place?
yes,
Like really fast?
like really fast.
That's the best.
That sounds fun.
It's very cool.
Okay, so it...
And the cover system is revamped.
Oh, really?
That was like a big complaint people had
yeah.
when it launched, but now it's like you pop right into cover, and it's a lot safer. It's harder for people to lock onto you.
Okay, and so the controls are a bigger deal to you than, okay, now there's new roles.
I mean, the rules are great
Okay.
for sure, but the controls, it feels like a different game.
So, so I can go in and be a trader, and can I just literally, like, all right, now I'm just going to wander from one side of the map to the other forever? Is that going to be satisfying? Like, I'm into
Yeah.
that more, like, subtle role-playing experience. I just was kind of turned off when I first went into Red Dead Online. Like, I don't want cutscenes with a character who doesn't talk and all that stuff, but if I can just
For
have a
sure.
reason to explore that world more, I think I'm down for it.
Yeah, especially if you like the hunting. It was a pretty
Sure.
straightforward grind to hunt and then sell to the butcher, but now
Yeah.
there's like more progression for hunting specifically, and a lot of really interesting rewards and skills
Wow.
for
So
progressing these.
it took a game you're obsessed with, and now it's just cranked it up a notch.
Yes. But honestly, I think I'm going to be nostalgic for the time when it was like really slow, and it took forever to loot bodies. Now it's like it's just a really fast-paced game, and maybe it'll slow down once I stop having a million things I want to do. It's
Right,
a dumb thing to
right.
complain about.
Yeah.
But
Here we
It's,
are.
it's a new game, and I think people who were turned off initially might want to check it out.
That's interesting. Great take. Hot take, man.
Thank you.
Dan Tack, you
Hey.
traveled to PAX a while ago?
I did. I went
How
there.
was that?
PAX, as I'm sure I've said on this podcast before, it's an amazing community-centric show.
Yeah.
And more so now than ever, I think it's the indie scene, and that's where, we found a lot of really great stuff long before it got hot, like Darkest Dungeon and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what does the show look like for you? Are you just wandering around with your eagle-eye vision, saying, "Ooh,
Well,
indie on the horizon"?
I do schedule one day that's what I do.
Really?
But the other days are standard show practices, like appointments and interviews and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the stuff I saw there I actually can't even talk about because it's on embargo still, which is weird.
interesting.
But
Big things under the radar that you wanted to highlight?
yeah, so we can snap a couple of the cool... I saw a lot of good indies, and you should check
Yeah.
out GameInformer.com because I wrote up all the really cool ones I saw, at least in brief.
Oh, good.
So just to highlight a couple of them right now,
Okay, yeah.
Round Guard.
Is this the Peggle one?
This is the Peggle one.
Oh, I'm into this.
So this is a roguelike dungeon crawler, but Peggle.
Sure.
You know, if you go through the indie section, a lot of the games are like X genre, but other thing. It's like weird combinations and mixes. This one is literally a roguelike dungeon crawler, but Peggle. And I mean, what else can I say? That's awesome, right? Like
That's it. That sounds great. And like, it's one of those things that I guess I haven't thought about Peggle for a while, but there's not too many Peggle clones.
No.
I'm not sick of that formula at all. I'm ready for more of it.
right. And now you get it with like mages and warriors and rogues and gear and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff in a dungeon crawl setting where you go and kill a giant beholder.
It feels like Puzzle Quest or something where it's like, oh yeah, of course combine
Right.
this with RPG mechanics.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right, except with Peggle.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was a slam dunk.
What's the name of it?
It's called Round Guard.
Do you know when it's coming out?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't at all.
Round Guard. That
Yeah.
sounds great. Okay, number 2.
Number 2. All right, check this out. A game that you can't see. There's no visuals.
Is this a puzzle?
No, this is a story-driven RPG.
I have ears, but
Check this
cannot
out.
hear.
Check this out. It's a story-driven RPG.
Yeah.
It was developed with the Canadian Center for the Blind. I'm definitely wrong,
okay.
but yeah, they took guidance on that. So visually impaired and blind people can play this game just as well as you can.
Honestly, there's a point where it's like, okay.
No,
like
no.
I've played Papa Sangre, I've played
Right,
audio
right,
games
right.
before.
Normally, you know, you might consider this sort of like a gimmick or like a. I don't want to say that because
Right, I
you
understand
know
what you're
exactly what I
saying.
mean.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's crazy. There's like everything is auditory, and you're still like you're leveling up. You're getting skills. You're getting equipment.
So it's kind of like one of those Alexa games?
I mean, oh god. I think it's still more of a traditional game. You still have to like do inputs at the right time and in the right manner, but again, no visuals. It's called The Veil.
The Veil.
Yeah.
Which kind of veil?
VALE.
Ah,
Right.
okay, great. Like Game of Thrones.
That's a good distinction right there.
Yeah. What's their trailer like?
That one's coming out in 2020. The trailer is just a black screen with talking and, you know, they sort of give you the feel for like an interaction and a battle.
It'll be funny when they copyright strike people on YouTube for using their trailer.
That will be funny.
Other things?
There were so many. Okay, let's just do one more.
Please.
All right, this one's called The Rift Breaker. All right.
I've heard legend.
And this one, get this. It's an ARPG, you know, like Diablo or Path
Yeah.
of Exile, but at the same time, it's a tower defense survival base builder, like RTS.
Okay.
So you're building your base in an RTS StarCraft 2 kind of fashion.
Wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that. So you're building that base, you're building defenses, and you're going out, and to upgrade all this stuff, you have to kill stuff, and you can upgrade yourself or your base, and you're basically surviving against an onslaught of horde, like, I'm not going to say Zerg,
Yeah.
but there's some similarities.
It's like Dungeon Keeper almost.
Not like Dungeon Keeper, because Dungeon Keeper is sort of like automating your sim, right?
Right.
So this is very hands-on in terms of all of your upgrades and your base upgrades.
It's very like They Are Billions, though. It feels in that vein.
Oh yeah, we can. If I had to make it somewhat, it's not similar to They Are Billions, but that's the
Okay.
same structure, survival structure.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. It's weird that this genre is continuing to blossom.
Yeah. So I'd say it's in the survival genre if we want to take a big umbrella here.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
got the ARPG elements. Really, I was like, there's no way this is gonna work, right? There's just too many genres here.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to go out and like kill stuff and get upgrade materials, make yourself better, make your base better, and then defend against swarms. Choosing when to go out and kill stuff, or choosing when to defend yourself
Yeah.
too.
And what's the name again?
It's called The Rift Breaker.
Ah. What was the highlight socially of PAX?
I think socially.
Or like dev-wise or anything like that?
Well, I did get to talk to the Monster Hunter dev.
Oh, that's
producer.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
yeah.
quick follow-up with him. The interview's on the site.
They must be riding high. Had reviews hit at that point?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that was just before. So
okay.
that was really interesting.
What did they say?
Hello.
They're not getting rid of unskippable cutscenes.
Yeah. Is that what you asked about?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
God, that's just one sticking point, right? Like, if they could just make I love that game so much,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to play it. I'm gonna wait for PC this time. Since
Which is what? Holiday or winter or something like that, I think they
PC
said?
is gonna be what, January 2020?
Oh, is it?
January, February? I think.
Oh, I thought it was this year still, but all right.
I think I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I can't wait to play through with my friends on that one. And it's going to be a pain because we're all going to have to do the quests, you know.
Ugh, that sucks.
Why?
Why?
Maybe they don't want to be censored. Sorry, I'll turn my mic off now.
Yo, they're not censored. I just want to play the boss with my friend without going to a stupid cutscene.
That's a hot
Anyway,
take, man. Great take.
This is their vision. Thank you.
That's cool, man.
but anyway, yeah, PAX is a great way to get a sense of like just not just from talking to people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Walking around the indie booth is like fantastic. You can see where everybody is congregating. You can see these are the games that are obviously pulling more attention, and then which ones to check them out. And one of those games actually already came out. I don't even think we reviewed it. The pinball.
Creature in the Well.
Creature in the Well.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Sergio
yeah.
Vasquez reviewed it for another site.
For
You
another
can
site.
follow him
yes.
on Twitter. You can
Yes.
find it. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
And we may have had time to review it if he was still here.
Creature in the Well, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I've been looking forward to checking that out. It
Looked really good. And then I read Serial's review and I decided I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, where it's like there are highlights to it, but it's still frustrating. Yeah, it's weird to have the pinball mashup with other
Right.
things genre, like Yakuza Island Express, but now just a different take on that. Creature in the Well. Yeah, I got to check that out. There's so many games. Like I was just talking
Right.
over lunch. Like it's crazy to come back home after traveling for a really long time. And then it's like, oh, Steam is just filled with so many games.
You
need to
leave
go back
for a
and
week,
play.
you can miss a whole chapter in games. It's
Yeah, I haven't
crazy.
even checked out the Epic Game Store. That's going to be overflowing at this point, too. Good Lord. Also started Astral Chain. It's like there's too much. Too many games all of a sudden. Very short period of time. Suddenly, I'm drowning.
And that's the thing, when you have like all the, like they don't put out release dates until the game is out the next day,
Right,
right? It's
right.
just like, whoa, okay, surprise.
There's so many games out right now. Like, which ones are in your backlog, Dan?
You know I don't have a backlog.
You also wanted to talk about Blasphemous.
Yeah, speaking of games that came out of nowhere.
Please.
I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere. It's seen a little thing. Anyway,
Developers made it.
I'll be quick.
They work so hard.
It's there's no shortage of Souls-like Metroidvanias out there on Steam and in the indie game scene.
Yeah.
So this one's, I think, specifically if you like Hollow Knight and stuff like that, you like this.
Oh.
This is more platformy.
2D.
2D, very platformy. The aesthetic is amazing. Okay, I don't know if I'm sold on the gameplay itself, but it looks beautiful.
We should look at a trailer for Blasphemous.
Really dark, iconic, religious imagery.
Oh.
So it's grim stuff.
What
but
type of... I think of a crucifix.
There are crucifixes, but it's
Okay.
mostly like, whipping themselves and penitence and very darkly themed.
Mel Gibson directed it?
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay, cool. But it's Dark Souls, Hollow Knight style.
If you want to,
Okay.
just, I hate making that comparison, but it's
keep
an easy
doing
way. Because it's just such an easy way to relay what it is.
I know.
And it looks great, and it has a really cool, there's like a lot of questing and stuff. You go find like 20 quest items at a time, wandering around, exploration, lots of backtracking to find new things, new areas. You've got all kinds of Souls mechanics, like, bonfires that aren't bonfires and Estus flasks that aren't Estus flasks and all that stuff. But like I said, visually, it's great.
Yeah.
The gameplay has kind of like, it's kind of turned me off a little bit. It's kind of like that Mega Man 1 platforming.
Interesting.
In the air zone specifically, like where it's like, oh god, you mess up one little thing,
Yeah.
and it's over.
With more, that's called Blasphemous, by the way. But with more time to reflect on it, do you think Remnant is one of the biggest successes of the year?
I still I don't need more time to reflect on it. I played
Yeah.
the crap out of that game. Like that was a full weekend. I'm talking start to finish. Like I got off work on
Right.
Friday, and then I played it till I came in on Monday. Like
Yeah, I think we need to
Straight.
check it out still. Just that
And
Dark
it's-
Souls, but third person
it's like,
gunplay.
and that one I want to move away. Man, I can't move away from the Dark Souls thing because they use so many of the mechanics and features,
Yeah.
but it doesn't play like it. That's the
Right,
important part.
Right,
Like,
right.
But I do love what they have there, and I'm just surprised they didn't make it. And I know people are going to hate me, but like a living game instead
Right.
of like the one shot, because it's a quick one shot if you blow through it, and like once you've beaten it once, you go back and kill the bosses that you missed to get the special loot, and that's cool. But then that's still only like another X hour. It's not a long thing, and it feels like it. Just when you start to get into it, just when you're like, okay, I've got my spec, I got my build, I've started to finally get the hang of everything, I'm good. And you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm kind of done.
Right. I don't think we had the review score when we talked about it last time, but what did you get? 875?
It was in the 8s.
Okay.
What was it? 8,
Leo, can you find out?
8.5 sounds right.
8.5, something like that. Remnant from the Ashes.
Or maybe
we
an
need to
it's
check that
between
out.
8 and 8.5. God.
Okay. Can I handle it single player?
You can, but you won't want to.
Because I'm bad. And
Here's the thing about
okay.
it does start off more challenging than it is later. It starts
Yeah.
off very challenging. Once you've got an idea of what you want to build out, and a weapon you really like, and then you upgrade that weapon, and you start these things called traits. So you can level up traits like all you want. You can just keep getting stronger and stronger. It's really good stuff. Like I think you actually will like it.
Okay. Yeah,
It's-
I want to check it out.
And if you do have friends to play with, even better.
Okay.
We gave it an 8.5.
8.5.
Are
There
the
we go.
load screens really long for you, Tack? They're crazy long for me.
Are you playing on PC?
Yeah.
I don't have the best PC, and it doesn't have a problem.
Going off that hot SSD, boy?
No, I wasn't. That's probably what I'll have to do.
Did you like it, Leo?
It was all right. Only
Oh.
played a couple hours so far.
Ooh.
The gunplay feels really great.
Oh, okay. Great.
Like I said, like I got to you get to the end. Okay, you get to like the end
Roller coaster.
segment
Yeah.
after the fourth act or whatever, and you're just like, huh, it's over.
That's it.
I'm gonna go kill those bosses, and I did.
Right.
And then you're gonna kill bosses in a secret way, like they're special. Like if you cut off the dragon's tail, you get a different weapon.
Yeah. Stuff like
It's just
that.
there's all kinds of like little cute stuff like that, but like no incentive beyond that to keep going.
Right. All right. You guys want to clap out of here?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, bye. Hey, Brian Shea.
Hey.
And hey, Andrew Reiner.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on, man. Very exciting stuff. Let's see. Let's start with
Video games.
video games, no matter what.
Solid
Apple
plan.
Arcade. This is going to be quick and easy because iPhone games on a podcast, a gaming podcast at
you
that.
kidding me?
Out of your mind. Phones are for texting, maybe a little sexting, and that's where it stops. Apple Arcade.
What was that voice?
It'll
Is
never
that
happen
Creeper
again.
Ben Hansen?
Anyways, Apple Arcade. Shay, you were up on this stuff.
Yeah.
What did we learn about Apple Arcade this week?
It comes out next week. Next week.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Okay.
September 19th.
Wow.
For the fine price of $5 a month.
I won't
This
buy that for a
hand.
fine price.
That's all you need.
And first month is free.
Oh, really?
And then on top of that, you can share your subscription with up to 5 other family members.
That
or
seems
your
insane.
sexters.
Or your sexters, yeah.
Okay. Well, my sexters are like my family. Sometimes it gets confusing. Okay, but all the games that they showed, are those all launching next week as well?
I'm not sure if all of them are launching, but
Okay.
you have like a new Pac-Man game, you have a new Rayman game, you have the new game from the
All right, well, let's
Bravely Default Octopath Traveler
Let's
team.
slow this down because it's very interesting, right? It's like, oh, new Rayman game that's very exciting, but they've released so many of those,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
kind of reusing
Yeah.
Origins assets. And this one, it's like, okay, Rayman's tiny, and that's a fun hook for this.
What?
But I've played several of
Cork's
those
gonna
games,
love it.
like the Jungle Run, Party Run. Like they're fine. They're no real Rayman game. But the one I'm very excited about is Q Games making a new Frogger game. Seeing a Konami logo at this Apple conference, like, what in God's name? And it's a tiny Frogger in Toy Town game. And like, I love Frogger. I love Q Games. That you have those two getting together. Like, Q Games is in such a weird spot because they're also at the Stadia reveal, and they're going to be working on some new stuff, including like porting Pixel Junk games over to Stadia and stuff like that. So the idea of them making new Frogger is wild.
Yeah, I like Q Games. Frogger, I don't care about.
Are you kidding me?
That thing died
More of a Crossy Road
that
guy.
frog died a long time ago.
Did you like Frogger back in the day though?
The original.
Yeah, of course.
Atari 2600.
What about the
arcades.
PlayStation Frogger?
I don't remember. There was like all
really?
those adventures he went on. He became like this cartoon character.
Yeah.
He just needs to be a damn frog crossing the street.
Well, hopefully we'll have that in Frogger in Toy Town. But you mentioned the Bravely Default team. Square Enix is getting behind Apple in a big bad way with a game. I love this. Various Day Life.
Yeah, and
The name of the game.
In the asset, when I downloaded the screenshot for this game, apparently the team did not know what it was called, so it was called Variety Day Life.
Oh wait, maybe it is called Variety.
It's
Day Life.
not. It's
oh really?
various yeah, like just the file name for the image was Variety Day Life.
Oh my God. Are you guys excited about this? Are you going to subscribe to Apple Arcade?
At least a month.
I'll do
Check
the
it
first
out.
month like trial.
Well,
I
I'll-
guess.
I'll piggyback off yours.
Okay.
Yeah, can I be part of your family too, Shay?
No,
Damn it.
only Reiner.
God, do I have to sign some paperwork for that? I'm willing to be your son.
Just sext him and he's in.
Oh yeah,
All
that's right.
Great.
That's how it works.
Okay, Tokyo Game Show, the other big thing that's happening now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Death Stranding, very exciting and stuff. We're recording this podcast at a point where we haven't seen the big bombshells, but
Yeah, like an
hopefully we'll be
hour
covering
of
it.
footage, right? Or
Yeah.
90 minutes. It's
Something like
sizable.
that. It's going to be interesting. Final Fantasy VII, though, we have a new gameplay today up showing off the demo, which is that opening section, which we've been describing several times. Unbelievable. Also, new trailer, the TGS trailer for Final Fantasy VII. You into that, Reiner?
I am. Did you see the box art, by the way?
No.
They recreated the Final Fantasy VII
Oh,
that's the
one
box
of,
art?
of
Box
Cloud
art.
looking at
Oh,
the Shinra
nice.
Tower.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
sexy.
that's so fun.
I've seen the art. I didn't know that was the actual box art though.
I mean, that box art back in the day, you're like, what is this guy facing the other way? But now you look at it.
yeah.
Now you look at it, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's nostalgic.
It's nostalgic, but at the same time, I don't know. There's a part of me where it's like, of all the things in that game, the idea of like, hey, here's this kind of annoying tower to navigate, being like front and center. Like, nobody has real affection for that tower, I don't think. But the new trailer I thought was interesting. Oh, you're less impressed, Ryan.
Well, I'm at a point now where it's like I've seen enough.
Mm-hmm.
I get the vision, maybe the complexity of what this game's going to entail in terms of regions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just want to play it now.
It is
Right?
crazy when that trailer started with the train sequencing, and it's like, it has literally been 5 years of
Yeah.
looking at this,
That's
not
exactly what
including
I'm
the
saying.
PS3 tech.
Yeah.
But then I thought it went interesting directions, like even showing what looks like an attack on like Seventh Heaven, like Tifa's bar,
Yeah.
from like these weird, look like those Harry Potter ghost things. What are those called?
Dementors.
Dementors, thank you. Where it's like, I don't know what that is. Or then
Yeah.
they show on the bike sequence, there's like a new soldier. So they have them like including new characters that are technically part of Soldier is a really
That's what
interesting
makes,
idea.
I guess, makes this trailer tick is just the little nuances that are different than
Yes.
7. And you're starting to see maybe maybe it isn't so much just reliving the same thing. It's actually going to be a remake, or not a remake, but like a retelling of that story, right?
Including like there's a shot of Tifa like doing monkey bars, and it's like, is this
I
just
hope
like
that's a mini game.
I think I worry that it might be.
I
'cause
hope it's quick
It's like I
time.
could see her playing darts, stuff like that, right? And so I wonder if it is just like this little arena where you can do the squats as Tifa, stuff like that. But I hope that you can choose who you're running around as in the main world. I think that'd be really interesting. But I still am in love because I love this game so much. I'm in love with the idea that in 2019 there's a trailer proudly displaying Don Corneo from Final Fantasy VII. Like, to have that guy full frame in marketing is just insane.
It's amazing.
And they're showing like the tease up to the cross-dressing sequence. Now it shows that like Tifa's also involved in like getting the pieces with you, which is different. So again, small tweaks, but you take what you can get.
You're taking what was maybe 20 hours of the game.
It's like 10.
10 in the original Final Fantasy VII, and they're saying this is going to be what, like 100 hours, or
I think it's like the size of like a full Final Fantasy game. But
so 90 hours. Like,
yeah,
holy crap!
I don't know. I was confused. I was angry that I was so confused with this. But the final shot in the trailer of like Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett like overlooking something, I thought like, oh, that's like the end of the motorcycle chase when like looking out on the edge of Midgar. But it's like, oh no, what that is the Sector 7 plate having crashed.
Oh,
so
I thought that was Midgar. Like,
I think that's them surveying the damage and just realizing the scope of what it actually looks like when the plate falls this time around, which is just gigantic.
I can't wait.
It's very
I
exciting.
really can't wait.
And that music, it genuinely puts tears in my eyes. And it's not even like a sentimental song like Aerith's theme. It's just like the boss theme. The music in that remake is so GD good, Jay.
I'm just at the point where the E3 trailer was enough for me to sell it. Like, I'm gonna buy it.
The walkthrough of combat.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
They
meant.
showed me the nuance of that, and I was like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
It really looks fun and dynamic, and it's an evolution from 15 and what 7 was. Like,
And
I love it.
Absolutely. And I just played through that demo again at the GameStop Managers Conference, and it's still just like, oh, it just feels so good. I'm in love with it.
Can't wait.
Also, other thing real quick is that weird shot where it shows like Biggs and Jesse like parachuting into Midgar, which is bizarre because that happens at the end of the game when you like skydive back into Midgar. So I don't know if they're moving that up or you're going to skydive into Midgar multiple times.
Maybe they make a really great mini game, and then you do it like numerous times.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it's like the old game on your phone where you have to go through the rings and stuff. Also, Yakuza 7,
Yeah,
big hit of the show over there.
I am excited for that game.
Why are you excited, Shay?
Well, first, I love the Yakuza series. I'm steadily playing through all of them, and I'm going to be finishing Kiwami 2 just as the ports hit PS4. So hopefully by the time 7 comes out, I'll have them all in the bank.
But it might be a little different than you'd expect.
Sure.
What's changing this time?
New hero,
Yeah.
Ichiban Kasuga.
And the part I'm very excited about, going back to Final Fantasy 7 again, turn-based combat in Yakuza. Honestly, they do have like a new starting point, and it's turn-based combat, and it's like Dragon Quest inspired, and the main character is a fan of Dragon Quest and makes Dragon Quest references. That sounds so fun.
Yeah, like
It
in the
is,
trailer.
but the big allure of some of those old games was just how crazy the hand-to-hand combat was, right? Like the melee stuff. So moving away from that's kind of scary.
But it's scary, but they've done it so much.
I know, but it's like that's kind of part of the DNA, and now
Right.
you replace it with something else.
Yeah.
I mean, turn-based combat was such a part of Final Fantasy's DNA, and I'd still argue that it's better as turn-based, but like,
I don't know, man. Go
I
back
would
and
take
play
Final
those games.
Fantasy. I would take 10's combat over 15's any day of the week,
Yeah.
or 13 for that matter.
I don't think you're too wrong. But Leo, you love fighting in Yakuza. How do you feel about the turn-based thing?
I'm not probably even gonna play it.
Whoa.
Really? Yeah. But I'm glad that Judgment will have that kind of combat for people who want it, like yours truly.
Right, so if that continues. So we're going to be 2 ships passing in the night where I can pick up where you left off from the Yakuza series?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that
Hey,
sounds good.
what
man.
if we did a live stream where whenever it switched to combat, you gave the controller to someone else and just left the room?
Okay, that'd be good. Or we switch to a console that's playing Judgment,
Right.
and we just do a fight there.
That
cool.
sounds
That
pretty
works.
good. TGS stuff on the site, GameInformer.com. Joe and Kim are out there sweating their buns off and posting stories, so check it out. Greedfall. Reiner, this is not Japanese.
Yes.
What is this?
This is a new new open world RPG from Spiders, the team that did Technomancer, Bound in Flame, Mars Warlogs.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's good that we kind of establish the pedigree they've had.
Yeah.
The average Metacritic on any one of these games is in the 5s and 6s, right? This team has been cutting their teeth, or the studio has been cutting their teeth for a long time on games that just haven't turned out. There's been good ideas in these. Technomancer had some really great ideas, but execution wasn't there. All the ideas weren't there, right? Greedfall is their best game by far.
And it's open world action RPG?
Yes.
Interesting.
Very
17th century Baroque European kind of style. So you have flintlock pistols, big sail barges. You have pantaloons, kind of all that kind of stuff. But it's a magic-based fantasy world. So you have big monsters and shooting lightning out of your hands. And so that mixture works. Like, the idea is kind of neat.
Yeah.
They're big fans of BioWare.
Okay.
And that was evident in Technomancer, and it's also evident in Greedfall.
So lots of Anthem references, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's just 4-player mech battles. Doesn't fit. No, you have companions. Here's an example. You have companions with you at any time, too. You can talk to them, learn more about them, influence them, maybe romance them. They also have their own personalities. So let's say they're conversing with someone they don't like. They might just end up shooting them. And that could be an outcome. So a lot of player choice in this game. And you have those big kind of Mass Effect Paragon Renegade moments of like, kill them, let them live, right? That's a very black and white choice that you have in this game. At the same time, a lot of the choice comes from talent rolls, dice rolls, and how you're sculpting your characters. So charisma, lockpicking, all that kind of stuff comes up. So at any given time, and throughout most of the game, you'll have a conversation that could be altered via a talent roll, or enter an area that could be altered via a talent roll. That's very compelling. That makes Greedfall really kind of fun. You feel like you have ownership over your character. You're sculpting how the adventure's going. You know you're missing content, but you're also seeing stuff maybe you wouldn't see otherwise, right?
Right.
That's great. Combat is also very well done. It's real time, set in the open world. It's all about, like, I'm a magic caster, so I'm shooting spells on my hands, locking onto enemies. There's conflicts usually have 5 or 6 beasts. Your companions are hacking away, and most enemies have charge attacks. So they'll come running at you, and then you can either parry or dodge roll. So it's very timing based. That feels really good. Another nice little touch is my companion. Let's say I get hit and I take significant damage. My companion might heal me. But if they run out of mana, my companion will be like, I'm low on mana. You better use a health kit.
Right.
Nice little touch, right? I like that.
Yeah.
So the combat flows very well. What Greedfall runs into is some technical issues. So I'll be in a battle with a group of 6 enemies, let's say. I'll start backpedaling away. I'm whittling away at their health. Like, I'm using your typical chase me, I'm still hitting you tactic you see in a lot of games. But they don't tell you that combat, kind of like MMOs, has a set arena. Even though I'm in an open prairie, if the enemy leaves that arena, you don't see it. You don't see a barrier at all. It'll just stop battling you, and it lost track of your sight, lost sight of you, will appear over its head, and it'll start walking back to its default position. All of its health is restored. All the enemies, if one enemy leaves that little barrier or arena that you don't know about, it could be 2 feet away where you start your conflict, by the way.
That sucks.
It resets. You do not reset.
So is the lesson then don't play Magic?
The lesson
just
is
go for a physical build?
Yeah, and even if you're a Magic user, you have a melee. You hit R1 and you have melee. You're not as strong in that unless you start sculpting yourself that way, but then you're losing out on your Magic casting, right?
Okay.
The RPG systems are really solid too. The writing's good too.
Okay.
To a degree, right? Like, it's talking heads, like very emotionalist talking heads conveying all the story.
It's the story of your life, Richie.
It is.
Okay.
There are some nicely sculpted moments and story sequences that are really well done, motion captured, all that stuff. But most of the time, it's just blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really have a life to it. Even though what's happening is interesting.
Yeah.
But then you start running into things like, let's say there's 5 cities in the game. The architecture's great. The citizens are going about their life, taking care of their stuff. You see them. It's very Elder Scrolls-esque in how it feels alive. But for whatever reason, the main mission giver, the main person you need to talk to in each city, is in like the same exact building in it. Even though it looks different from the exterior, you open up these double doors, you run through a foyer, there's a staircase that leads up to the right. One door you can open, you go in there, and the mission giver's at the back of the room in all 5 cities.
That's hilarious.
The pictures on the walls are the same in all 5 of them. It's
So
so
some
strange.
budgetary constraints you can
Yeah.
feel playing the whole thing.
So it runs into technical issues. It runs into some, I don't know about balance yet. I'm still playing it.
Sure.
Or where the choices end up going, if they really mean a lot. They say there's multiple endings.
Yeah.
But I'm having fun with it. It's in the 7 range. I could say that right now. It's okay.
Does it feel like a Kingdoms of Amalur level appeal?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It reminds me, and this will probably be the opening of my review if I ever get to write it, because this game is big. Playing the early Elder Scrolls games or the first Witcher, where there is something really good there, but it's just kind of held back from execution and quality, right?
Sure.
So I think the next game, if they make a Greedfall 2 or a new IP after this, that might be the one where they really hit it.
Yeah.
But this is their best game. Spiders' best game. It's okay.
It's a good box quote.
But they're trending in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Oh,
So
it's
I'm
super
excited
exciting.
for that team. I think it's worth a look if you're hungry for a big open world RPG.
I feel like there's enough people that are always hungry for a big open world
especially
RPG.
choice driven. Like
Yeah, for
there
sure.
is a lot of sculpting going on. I think it's worth a look in
It's
that
a-
capacity.
Yeah, it's a great thing to support. Greedfall. Is it out on...
PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful. Shay, how's your week?
Good.
Anything striking you?
No,
Okay. You busy writing?
I am.
How's that going?
Eh,
Feeling proud?
no.
Okay, great. You guys want to move on to emails?
Yeah.
Here we go. And welcome back to Game Informer Show. We have some wonderful emails that people send into podcast at GameInformer.com. I'm here with Andrew Reiner. Yeah. And I'm here with Dan Tack.
I love emails.
Oh, and I love you.
That's good.
Comma man. Honestly, heartwarming. So many great emails sent in. So many where I think I would never think of this question. That is so smart. It's like every question is just on the tip of your tongue, right?
Oh, I can't wait to see what these are.
Hey, can we someday add the worst question?
And then just don't put the name in there so we don't shame them. But we're all gonna. But that one listener's gonna feel so bad.
Well, you're just hyping everyone
Yeah,
up, and then their
you're
name
right.
doesn't get called sometimes.
You're right. Okay, well, the worst questions is usually, it's great, but we usually get about 2 to 3 a week of people saying, what if 2 developers swapped games? Like that thing. That we answered
That's-
probably in
that
like the
can't-
first week of the podcast, but so many people ask that. Or
That's
like,
not the worst, though, right?
but it's always just like, why
That's
doesn't...
the worst of the great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's also like, maybe one person uses it to like spam hate and just kind of like, oh, this person's losing their mind.
Because we put the bad questions that go to Game Informer's feedback section,
right,
our
in the
letter section of the
magazine.
magazine.
Yeah.
We have no cares whatsoever. We just throw it in there.
Yeah, you're right. That's an interesting take. By the way, Leo Vader is still here.
Hey, what's up?
On mic, feeling good, feeling randy. So the way this works, podcastgameinformer.com. Read off some of our favorites, choose our number 1 absolute tippy-top favorite, and then put a pin in the big board where that person is from. And I hate to say this to the worldwide listeners, but United States, stacked.
Why some gold and white?
Gold means where they've had more than one.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And white is Felix from Paris, who was the winner last year for Question of the Year.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. First email. Hunter wrote in saying, hey, did anyone there watch or listen to the Kind of Funny Game Informer Takeover podcast from the other day? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great. I listened to the first daily and then also like the Big Games cast. And Imran and JV and Serial were out there. That's very cool. Imran's going to be doing stuff there for a while, and then Serial and JV were flown in by Greg Miller and the team, so that was very generous of him. It was generous of him. It's always weird, like, listening to that, and I always think, like, is it going to be weird listening to these people that I've podcasted with so much? Is it going to be, like, frustrating because I'll feel like, oh, I should be there. I want to jump in and answer this, but it's like, oh, no. Turns out it's just fun to listen to. They did a great job.
I was almost hurt by how much more comfortable they looked.
Yes.
They looked so comfortable up there.
Especially Serial. Serial's a cool cat and all that stuff, a cool customer, but like he was so good.
yeah.
I was like, man, this must be like a cozy atmosphere in that studio for them to be so relaxed.
the exact same thing to Leo. After
Oh, really?
that. Yeah, I was like, Serial was just amazing.
Yeah, he was so excited.
Imran, on the other hand, got
Oh.
no notes from Greg Miller.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This is shade for Greg Miller. not Imran.
Oh, I see. You wanted to give him like a full rundown or
I have a
something?
beef with Greg Miller that
Oh,
I'm trying
I
to
see.
start, and it's not going anywhere.
We can get it off the ground right here,
Still
right now.
raw beef
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, say something horrific about him.
Put your shirt on, dude.
All right, that's been said though.
there we go.
But, like, let's go raw.
Put another shirt on.
It's on. It's
Yeah.
on now.
Button down over the T-shirt.
Absolutely. Wear a parka.
Yeah.
Let's see. Justin from Austin, Texas.
Beef.
Yep. We're a beef flavored parka.
Beef.
Justin from Austin, Texas. He says, "Hey, are Nintendo Directs never planned but merely rumored into existence?"
What?
I love this concept. It's just like
What?
they're never planned. It's just like when the collective unconscious just gets to a point where there's so many Nintendo rumors, then it like triggers and pops, and then one just pops into existence and dispels some of those rumors and creates new ones. Isn't that a fun idea?
It's a great idea.
Am I out of my mind?
It's a great idea. I think in reality they probably have a roadmap a year out. At
So these
very
aren't
least.
magical videos. These are actually
I know.
created by Nintendo.
You know what? If we want them to
Corporation.
be magical, we can make them that way. But nah.
I think it's the butterfly effect. I don't know what the butterfly effect is, but let's just call it that.
Not to be a
Right.
contrarian, but these are 100% magical videos.
they are pure magic distilled into
yeah.
Luigi.
Did you see this, Dan? I don't know if you watched the last one, but
I did.
Divinity Original Sin 2 coming to Nintendo Switch with
Steam.
Steam cross saves.
and-
It's on Switch now, right? It's out.
Oh, is
It's
that
out.
right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
out. You can play it right now.
Have you
Damn.
looked at that version at all?
Not
Dan?
that version. I mean,
Okay.
One of the best RPGs ever.
Yeah, it is one of the best RPGs ever. Yes.
975 from Dan Tag over here.
Probably should have been at 10, but we got to give him room for Baldur's Gate 3.
I guess so. Also, I love the Nintendo Direct style. It's just so blunt. Like, Deadly Premonition 2 was announced in a way where it made me second guess whether or not Deadly Premonition 2 had already been announced. Because, like, wait, they're just, like, saying this matter of fact. Like, it's, Yoshi's DLC. So it's like, oh, and then Deadly Premonition 2, the detective is back. It's like, wait, there should be, like, a huge kasha. There should be, like, a big explosion or
Yeah.
something here.
The one thing I'll say against Nintendo Direct, I think they've done a brilliant job with these things, is sometimes the announcements go too quick.
Right.
Like, it's just like, whoa, that's a big deal. Maybe have someone come on and talk about how that's a big deal for a second.
Or
and
just,
then-
like, cut to Kazumi going, like, mind blown gif or something.
Yeah.
I mean, did you like that? Well, here's what's next.
You know what cracks me up?
What?
Game Freak does this too. In all of those directs, when they just go, "What did you think of that?" and then have that pause. It's like, I just want to tell those guys, like, what are you doing? No one's prompted to leave a comment because you asked, "What did you think of this trailer?"
Well, didn't you love Town Game or whatever it's called? I don't know.
Little Old Town Road, I think
Old
is what Leo
Town
said
Road.
earlier today.
And every day.
Yep. And every day. You usually sing it, though. Andre from Toronto, Ontario. We all know where that is. He says, over the years, we have seen many unique and overall badass weapons, ranging from Clouds and Zach's Buster Sword. It's Clouds. Zach lost all ownership over that sword when
Yeah.
he chose to die.
Sure.
To the energy sword from Halo. So my question is, what would be your favorite weapon you've seen from all of gaming?
I'm sure I'll take this back after I think more clearly about it.
Hang on,
but-
stop. All
right.
Hang on, write down. Hang on.
Some kind of contract being
Keep
worked
right-
up here?
Apparently,
Okay, and what is it?
the whirligig saw from Bloodborne. It's like the giant pizza cutter.
Let the record show. I wrote down Bloodborne Sharp Thing.
Wow.
That's it. I mean, that wasn't exactly it,
Okay,
but
sorry. But what about this weapon in particular?
It's just it's a style weapon. I don't like it for functionality, but it hits like a truck and it spins around. It's a giant pizza cutter. Have you seen this thing?
No,
you got to see this
no.
thing. It's great. Leo, put a clip of it.
Yeah. I had the
There we go.
Sharkcast, but thank you. I watched a Battle Angel Alita recently. Have you guys seen that?
I kind of
No.
like that movie.
It's like an expensive B-level sci-fi film, you know?
That's exactly it. But
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I kind of like it.
What'd you think about the main bad guy's weapons, where he just has like projectile fingers?
Yeah. It's cool.
It's like kind of a whip, but it projects metallic whips
Yeah.
from each of
I
his
think-
fingertips. It's
Didn't
so
Ghost
unique.
in the Shell have that where she
Oh,
could
is
like
that what it
type
is?
like from a distance or something?
Is that what that movie's about?
I think that's what it
there you
was.
go.
He's a receptionist?
Yeah. You don't even
God.
have to lean in. You just
But you got to pick a game weapon, right?
Oh, yeah. So for me, so many to choose from with Perfect Dark, but I'm going with an oddball.
suitcase?
Perfect
You
Dark.
think like laptop gun, you
Yeah.
think
Or
something like
laptop,
that.
yeah.
Specifically, it's dual phoenixes, which is the alien weapon, but the small one, not the Callisto, the small one, and then with explosive shells.
Yeah, I know what
dual
you're talking about.
phoenixes with explosive shells, Oh,
What's the one you
nothing
can
feels
see
better.
through walls?
Farsight.
No, it's really good too.
Every gun, just the best.
So-
if I would have had a piece of paper, I would have written down perfect dark weapon. I guarantee it.
So a general weapon for me, the flame sword is just everywhere, and it's always fun when you get that. And it's such a crazy idea that your sword is on fire.
Yeah.
But unique weapons in games, Scorpion Spear, that just being on a chain and the way it's used is super cool. I think that's just such a unique thing.
Yeah.
And then Assassin's Creed, the wrist blades. I know that's not a unique thing, but the way they're used in the game, it just makes you feel like just like when you're sneaking up, it's such a great way to end that encounter.
Yeah. Leo, do you like weapons?
All of them. I like the energy leash in Bulletstorm.
Oh,
Where
okay.
that you grab people with and you slam them into the ground or pull them towards you and shoot them in the air.
That works.
The cerebral bore from Turok 2, which is this little ball you'd shoot in the air, and the whole purpose is it'd find the head and drill in and destroy the brain.
Oh my god.
Now that's a weapon.
Like replace the brain?
Just mash it up into soup.
Well, I got bad news for everybody. Andre says that we're all stuck with these weapons in the zombie apocalypse. But I'm feeling pretty good
I
about
don't even
that.
think I could lift the Willie saw. But, you know,
With these puny arms,
true.
got you pushing pencils.
I'm
I mean,
screwed.
it's a large weapon.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm screwed. It's all close quarters, and the spear is pulling the zombie to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to say to a zombie
Yeah.
in an apocalypse is get over
You
here.
gotta mention that beforehand.
No, that's the
And
twist.
they don't even have brains, so that one weapon wouldn't do anything.
Oh, the boar.
Oh,
Yeah, Reiner, we're going to have to use our weapons against you when you...
oh wait, no. You hit him in the brain, they die. Cerebral bore is a good
That
weapon.
depends on the zombie.
Some zombies, that's not the case?
Some zombies are not like headshots and brain kills don't do it.
Wait, what?
Which
Zombies
zombie is
are
that?
very-
Head cabbage in Last of Us? Those
Head
guys?
cabbage. That's the way they officially
Or
like to be
cauliflower
named.
creatures?
Yep, you got it. Aaron
Cauliflower
Tribbett.
creatures.
Mr. Aaron says, good evening. I just finished eating potatoes and reading September's issue of Game Informer. So meat and potatoes kind of guy.
We need some more specificity on the potatoes here. What kind? You know?
Edible potatoes.
Oh, that's a good kind.
Says, I wanted to shout out a special thanks for the NASCAR Heat 4 preview. He says that sports games and racing games don't get enough love in the gaming world. Yeah, you should marry Matt Cotto. He ended up reviewing NASCAR Heat 4 in the reviews on GameInformer.com. He gave it a 7.25. So run, don't walk to your nearest NASCAR Heat 4. I don't know. Julio Hernandez says, hey, GI crew, who's your favorite voice actor / actress within a game and within games media overall? Some of my favorite voice roles have definitely come from heavy hitters like Steve Bloom and Jennifer Hale. But I think my all-time favorite performance is Sissy Jones as Delilah in Firewatch. My favorite voice outside of games themselves has got to be Brandon Jones of Easy Allies fame. That's very sweet. Good voice. Good voice.
Really good voice, yeah.
I think did we talk about it on the podcast? I don't think we did, but I'm a sucker for the voice. This is very specific and probably creepy and pervy, but on the 8-4 podcast, Mark McDonald on that, his inhale, I am erotically into because he has like a loud
But I do it
inhale.
off the mic. I've never done it in the mic.
Hang on, let's hear it. No, not good.
Tack.
Dan, can you do one? But like in between words. Leo, how's yours?
Well,
Hi, I'm
I mean, I have to.
Hang on.
I don't know what kind of
Leo's
inhale
taking
this
the
is.
cake.
Like, I
Just
gotta,
like a
I gotta check
quick-
it out.
like, it's just edible inhales for some reason I think are great.
word.
Yeah, there it is. What do you guys like for favorite voice actor or actress?
I don't know
Mark
if I have
Hamill
one.
is
Okay.
a legend
a good one.
as Joker.
Yeah.
But I guess that extends beyond games. He was doing that beforehand.
Do you think he's a good actor as Luke?
Yes. I think he's fantastic.
In Last Jedi, I think he's fantastic. Do you think, like, A New Hope, you think he's genuinely a great actor?
Yes.
Okay. Dan?
I don't know that I have one. Sorry.
I'm thinking it's outside of games, but Stephen Merchant, obviously. Wheatley is in Mortal 2, I think, is the absolute best. And then, Leo, I'm sure we're on the same page, but Roger Clark, I guess, for Arthur
good.
in
Of
Red
course.
Dead 2.
Troy Baker, by the way, and Nolan North, I know they're in everything, but that's because they're that good and that versatile, and
yeah.
props to them. They do an amazing job.
And if you don't know who they are, you might never notice. Like they do have a wide range.
Yeah, for sure. Adam from Connecticut. I love this question. He says, at this point, who do you think has had a greater impact on the games industry as a whole, Sega or Microsoft? P.S. Please make Back to the Disc Trivia a regular segment. You got it. I loved how straight you guys played that. That was so
Great,
funny.
I'm glad.
If you asked me that question 5 years ago, I probably would have said Sega.
Yeah.
But I think what Microsoft has done this generation with Xbox One is revolutionizing games like Game Pass in general.
I see. Okay.
I think is going to be a path forward for most publishers. So I would now say Microsoft. But the legacy that Sega has left behind, the number of titles and the stuff they did in the console space before that, I think was more than Microsoft did with its first 2 consoles.
Well, yeah, what about just hardware from Sega? I mean, obviously it's like, okay, Dreamcast, we're going to talk about it in a bit. But, just online capabilities. But before that,
Bringing in CD,
Sure.
like the things that they kind of, maybe they didn't introduce it because there was TurboGrafx CD and stuff like that, but they were definitely pushing the medium forward. The VMU, Game Gear, the Genesis handheld. I can't remember what that was called.
Oh, the Nomad.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like they were doing some cool
It
stuff.
was cool stuff, but impact. It seems like those are all cool things, but it's hard to say the VMU had an impact on the games.
Well, maybe it didn't sell a lot,
Yeah.
but did it inspire?
Yeah, if we go with impact, I don't think Microsoft gaming would be a thing now if it wasn't for Sega, where it was in the marketplace back in the console when consoles were nascent.
Also, if they wouldn't have left the industry and gave room for Microsoft to enter at the same time,
That's
right?
still, yeah. But like, I'm just saying, like, would Microsoft have even gone into the gaming sphere the way they did?
Right.
I'd say no. Without, it's impossible to say, right? We're talking like alternate history here, but
I know it's so tough too, not being as clued into the early days of Sega and stuff like that. Where it's like, okay, I understand people really liked Hang On and other arcade stuff back in the day and whatnot.
I mean,
right?
even that stuff's influential, right? Like the early turn-based RPGs they were doing.
Daytona. I mean, yeah, there's
Eye of
enough.
the Beholder and Shining Force.
Shining in the Darkness and Shining Force.
So software-wise, we're going with Sega, but hardware or kind of systems level-wise, that's Microsoft.
I think now Microsoft in particular, even controller design.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody uses those on PC when they're using a controller.
Right. Yeah. Leo, what's your verdict?
Microsoft.
There it is. Brian from Saginaw, Michigan says, cheers to the Game Informer crew. Do you know where Saginaw is?
I
Dan?
do. I've been there.
Really? What's it like?
Yeah, my grandparents lived there for many years.
Really?
It's pretty chill.
What? No, it's
Just like your response.
That's good. No, they seem like lovely people. I was flipping through an old issue of the magazine, issue 176 from the December 2007 to be exact. Okay. And on page 30 was the top 10 dying video game trends. Number 1 on that list, Reiner, any guess?
No idea.
The dying trend in 2007 was system exclusives. Obviously, that hot take didn't age well, but it got me thinking, what video game trend that people currently think are dying will still be around in 12 years?
I don't think that's a bad take, actually.
I don't either. I agree.
Because you look at what Microsoft's done, and it's like, yeah, it's only on Xbox, it's not on PS4 or Switch, but it's also on PC.
That's true.
And also, a lot of third parties don't do don't do system exclusives like they used to.
Like, they're still a thing, but they're not nearly as
you
big
have
a thing.
the
Right.
Personas, the Atlases that still do it, but you're not going to see EA only putting their sports games on PS2.
Right.
I think that's what that's in reference to.
Okay, sure.
But what was the question then? Like, what trend?
Yeah, what trend do we think is actually dying, but it's still going to be around in 12 years for now?
Physical media.
Hot take, right? 12 years.
12 years is a long time.
I could still
12
buy.
years is a long
I could
time, as a
buy-
wise man once
I
said.
could buy vinyl. I can buy CD. I think there's going to be some kind of physical footprint.
Yeah,
Whether
some
it's
guy in a
disc-
van in a back alley.
Oh boy. Some kind of, not maybe a disc, but maybe a zip drive, or some little
Sure.
chip that you can put in your machine if you live out in the boondocks or whatever. I think there will always be options for everybody. Whether that's for 99% or 1%, I think they'll still be there.
Yeah. 12 years. Let me do the math. So that's
It's a lot.
2031.
So this new console generation, a year out, starts in 2020. That'll go,
Yeah.
7 years? 8?
Yeah.
So it'd be the
6.
next gen after that.
Oh my God. I think like
And you could plug it into the controller port maybe. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be a drive
it
they
could be a
build in.
VMU.
Sega's back.
There we go. I think like single player, people are always say single player games going away,
But I don't
all
even,
this stuff.
Are they even on a downtrend? They're just Sure, there's the big multiplayer.
I
game,
mean,
but we
over the
still have
last
tons
10
of-
years, that's the big discussion. I mean, it's like, oh, they're going away. Offline games going away. But like, if there's that audience for it, of course, it'll always be around in
think
some
it's-
capacity.
Single player is trending back though.
Yeah.
Right, like what Sony's done with all their first party. That's all single player.
Right.
It's amazing.
I mean, Leo, look at Red Dead 2. That's like a great single player game.
That's right, exclusively.
Let's see. Luke from Holland, Michigan. You know where that is, Dan?
I do.
Do your
I have
other
family
grandparents
there
live
actually.
I don't-
Oh, really?
I'm not even joking.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, do they know?
My cousins are there.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
in Michigan knows each other.
I'll
That's
be
how it works.
damned. Except for the war between the Upper Peninsula and Lower Peninsula.
There's no war there.
I heard there's a war. Leo, did you hear there's a war too?
I started it.
And I'm gonna effing finish
There
it.
it
For
is.
whoever wrote in, by the way, they're in Holland now. They used to be in Alpena,
Is that
Michigan.
another Michigan
Yeah.
town? Hot damn, Michigan. This is
I
your
think they
chance.
filmed the
Go
snowmobile
Michigan.
sequence in Die Hard 2 in Alpena.
Really?
I think that's the only reason they're on the map still.
On the map is debatable. What do you think? What do you think is the best TV show that not a lot of people have watched? My choice is Black Sails. Although the first season wasn't anything special, it only got better from there and became one of my top 10 shows of all time.
This is
That
a
was
trick question.
It's a tough qualifier.
For you to talk about
Because,
Farscape
well,
again?
to say... Damn, that was my response. No, but no, for it to be a good series, it has to have more than one season, which means it needed to have the viewership to get picked up for
Right.
multiple seasons. So, I guess I don't know. That's a really hard thing. I would say Ash and the Evil Dead. I know that's a big mainstream thing.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think people talk about it much, though.
That show is amazing.
Really?
Oh my God. Yes. Sam Raimi directed the first episode,
Yeah.
and they do all the stop motion stuff, and it's good horror and suspense and really funny.
Evil Dead just
It's
feels
good.
like one of those.
It's done now, but it's good.
Yeah. It feels like one of those series like a Kid Icarus or a Punch Out or something where it's like I hear so much clamoring for more, and then
Yeah.
every time a miracle happens and more comes out, it's just maybe, not that people like tweeting, I'm reasonably satisfied with this,
Yeah, it is very much like Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness all rolled into one, and I love it.
Wow, that sounds great.
Get Shorty.
Ah!
All right, let's get
Shorty.
it.
Epic's
Let's get 'em.
original series, EPIX. Ever heard of that streaming service?
Why
Yes.
have you seen this?
It was on a plane.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I just watched it on a whim because I like Chris O'Dowd who's in it, and
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's got 2 seasons so far, and a third one's coming. I think it's gonna be the final one. But season 2 is like some of the best TV I've ever seen.
Epix has
Wow.
really taken off. They have a lot of really interesting programming on there.
Really?
Yeah. I do Timeline and Magazine. That's our calendar. And a lot of times the most interesting show will be Epix. And I had to look it up the first time. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Season 1 is also on Netflix now, though. Get
Wow.
Shorty.
Get
Check it out.
Shorty. I don't think this one's available anywhere except for a DVD, as far as I can tell.
Ooh, that's
but
good.
Aardman Animation's Creature Comforts
Yes.
is the best
seen that
stuff.
yet.
Specifically, I know it started with the British version, obviously, but the American version is the one that just annihilates it. It's from like 2007, I think they released it. But do you know the premise for Creature Comforts, Dan?
I've never heard
It's
of
the
this show.
best. So it's like the creator of Wallace and Gromit. Like one of his first projects was this offshoot where he just conducted like sweet interviews with old British people, and then he would take that audio and then animate it to an animal. So it's like claymated, like Leopard's one of the early ones, right? So like with the American one, it's just the best because you get the double whammy of really sweet, sincere, bizarre interviews with just random people across America. But at the same time, then the joke is when they're talking about topics, you make them different animals, and then it just takes on this whole new meaning. Like, that you talk to a couple about how the girl doesn't really mind that the guy isn't that tall. And then when you animate it, you make him a wiener dog, like those types of things. And then so every episode, they just add more and more people to this menagerie, and it rotates through animals. But like, seriously, I will cry my eyes out watching it because it is so sweet. Leo, will you back up
Okay.
at all there?
Yeah, it was cool. My mom got it for my cat as a tongue-in-cheek Christmas gift.
Wait,
But
for your cat?
yeah, just so just a fun little joke thing. But I ended up being the one watching it rather than my
Whoa.
cat.
So the cat's got your tongue in cheek.
Very good.
Oh, boy.
That's been our show.
I have another one.
Yes.
It's called Farscape. No. Primeval,
Oh yeah.
which
isn't that your
is
book?
a BBC. No, that's just Prime.
Oh, I see.
You should buy it and read it.
Oh,
It's called
interesting.
Primeval. Ran from 2007 to 2011, and it was basically there was portals opening up, these dimensional rifts on Earth, our Earth,
I remember that.
with dinosaurs coming through. So there was this organization, a secret organization that would go and hunt down these rifts and stop the dinosaurs.
Huh.
I loved it.
Wow.
It's great.
I think. Hang on. I think I might have watched that, Reiner. I think you were pushing it hard. I think I might have watched like the first couple episodes.
You
of
might
that.
still have my first season then.
Oh, I'm pretty good about returning things. I don't think so.
Is it still in your DVD player?
It very well could be. Yeah. Did you see that they're making a Jurassic World short film?
I can't wait.
They're releasing it. I forget what network it is. Like NBC. It would make sense, but I don't know if it's them.
And an animated show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It looked like. Ooh, and then like
I
the
don't care.
style.
It's more Jurassic Park.
And
Give
the
it-
sweet
give it to
Alexa
me.
game. Don't forget
Yeah,
that
I
sweet
hope they
Alexa
make a
game.
sequel to that Alexa game. I hope our Alexa starts working again, by the way. Anyways, that's television, everybody. Sam from Madison, Wisconsin says, "Hey, Jeff and the Corks. I'm assuming last week was such a hit that Hanson is handing over the podcast. Cool. This week, I had to use one of my Game Informer issues to kill a big spider that was threatening my wife.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm going to bite her little leg. But in an ironic twist of fate, it happened to be the Insomniac Spider-Man issue with that incredible Alex Ross cover. I guess I wanted to apologize for killing the spider to you guys and to Alex Ross. P.S.
Well-
Please don't tell Alex Ross that I smashed a bug with his art."
But you know what? It's the proper issue to kill a spider.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Yeah, he's killing it. Let's see. Alex from Brazil says, "Hello, crew. When given the option to change your outfit or skin at the start of a game, do you do it? Or do you stick to default all the way and ride it into the ground? And what if a better armor looks terrible compared to your current?" Interesting. Control and Mass Effect's Normandy uniforms are examples of the former and The Witcher 3 of the latter. What do you guys like? Default skin?
Generally, if I just want to get into the game, I literally just click through.
Yeah.
I'm
You're a
just like-
click-through kind of guy.
I'm
when
just
it
like,
comes to
come on,
story.
let me play.
Exactly.
All right.
I
But
always spend as much time as possible in the character editor.
Character editor, but specifically the outfit. Will you change from default outfit?
If the option's there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm torn on it. Like, I like to get freaky with the character creator, but outfits, I like the most iconic look. Like, I'm playing Astral Chain right now, and I really like it, by the way. And but that's one where it's like, I don't know. I kind of like having the default police uniform. There's something kind of fun about that. But then I found one where it's like police casual, where it's kind of like wearing like a white shirt and black pants. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool, man.
I have a crow on my head in that game.
Oh, really?
So there's all these dramatic cutscenes, and there's this bird just sitting there.
Hey, help me out. So I chose to play as the female twin. Does your hairstyle mirror on who? So it's just a coincidence that my brother's hair looks so much like my hair?
yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure that out.
They
'cause
don't switch it up, yeah.
Oh, that would have been hilarious to have like long
At
hair
least
on
what
the
I
other
saw,
brother.
they don't, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Fred from Columbus, Ohio. He says, "I can definitely beat my sister Catherine in basketball. Of that, there is no question."
that's nice.
Congratulations, man. I think that's what that game Catherine's about.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, practice and dreams come true.
Please have the panel agree to this statement. Sure, you wrote in with it, so I guess it's a
What?
fact, yeah. Anyways, moving on. No, he says, that begs the question. What are some skills, gaming or otherwise, that you all have where you are confident you can always win?
Always.
Always. Dan?
In-game
Not always.
skills.
No, skills in gaming or otherwise. Could be anything whatsoever. I am confident that this very specific move of stacking quarters on my arm and then flipping it down and catching all the quarters, I can out-quarter number
Anyone.
anybody in this office.
Oh, is it just the office? Because that didn't make that statement. Was
Well,
for
let's say
universal.
the office. Let's say the office reasonably. Also, number 2, I can do more pull-ups than anybody in this office. Guaranteed.
Probably.
Guaranteed.
I don't know. Not more than me. I mean,
How many can you
obviously
do?
more than me.
I do probably in sets, I'll do like 26 every time.
Holy.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
I love doing
Why aren't you doing this shirtless like
Yeah.
that bum Greg Miller?
Ain't nothing to
Yeah,
see
we need to have
here.
a fitness section of this podcast for
Ooh,
you.
can we put a pull-up bar in
It's
the
not a
studio?
6-pack, it's like a 12-pack, right? Like Rob
No.
Liefeld version down there.
I'm schlubby and gross, but somehow I still can do pull-ups. Never would have guessed it.
I can catch food in my mouth pretty good.
Ooh.
Oh, if we're
right?
talking of office, maybe I could do that.
Here. Ready, Leo?
Yep.
What do you guys got?
I bet I could eat more hot wings than anybody in the office.
No, you can't.
And hotter.
Yeah?
Yeah. There
It's
we go.
on, dude.
Yeah, then let's do it.
Really? Hotter?
Hottest you want to go, and as many as you, want to go.
You don't participate in when we have ghost peppers. You don't do that.
I'm not here.
Oh, that's right. That's why I've never seen you eat a ghost pepper.
That's not true, man.
But
You were sitting out there playing a game with me once.
That was the 1 year they didn't do BlizzCon. Yes.
Interesting. All right.
Mine would be darts.
You're
I am
good at
a
darts.
sharpshooter.
Really?
Yeah.
Regular cloud strife with those darts.
Seriously, like I'm pretty good at darts.
I'll be damned. Let's see. Do you guys want a weird one?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a weird one?
No. Nick in Syracuse, New York says, "Hey, Ben and crew. Last night, I had a dream
Oh, God.
with our Lord and Savior, Andy McNamara, in it. He was the head of a Ponderosa Steakhouse buffet. After my dinner, he encouraged me to take a to-go bag of wings. He slathered it in his homemade sauce. He then walked home with me and performed parkour moves on stairs, steps, ladders, and whatnot along the way. His skills were very impressive, but I couldn't wait to take a bite of those wings. As soon as I got home, I opened the bag, took out a chicken wing, and was suddenly woken up by the sound of my alarm."
How many of these kind of emails do you get a week?
It's a lot of Andy Dreams fanfic. Yeah.
That was sent by me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's stunning.
I mean, I thought it was going to be more disturbing than it ended up, but it ended up being
Yeah,
pretty,
it's not so
pretty
bad.
I
wholesome.
used to send those to him, and then he blocked me, and now I had to send
Oh, I
them
see.
somewhere else.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Brent Woodruff from Durham, North Carolina says, "Hello, Ben. You're all fortunate to have one-on-one time with a lot of developers, and I'm curious if there are any trends you're seeing that they get excited about." I like this email because something that doesn't hold true for every developer, but a shocking amount of developers, for reasons that are completely understandable, have a tough time keeping up with like current games. So talking to them about trends in other games or in the game industry, they're usually pretty far behind. Everyone's just so busy working on their own game. By the time they get home, a lot of them are just like, I don't want to play a game. Or if they do, they end up playing like Detroit or something like 1000% brainless and dumb.
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess maybe I won't say the specific name, but I was talking to a developer on a cover trip recently, like the game director, and he said that he played 1 hour of a game a night because he has like a family and is working so hard on the game. And so it was like it took him 5 months to get through Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and he was picking a new game.
Yeah, for sure. Or even like, I won't say what game it is exactly, but it's like a story head for this big game with ended up having a decent story, which I was surprised about. But at the same time, talking to him about stories in games, like, what's your favorite story in games? He's like, Last of Us. I'm like, what do you like? Anything more current? He's like, no, it's basically the last story-based game I played. I was like, what the hell, man? It's 2013. Let's go. It's crazy. Greg from Warwickshire, England. He says the birthplace of your boy Shakespeare. Shout out to your
Great.
boy Dan.
When you said
Why
that
is he my
city,
boy?
I didn't like what your mouth did.
Why was he my
Yeah.
boy?
Shakespeare?
Yeah.
He's all of our boy.
Okay.
Yeah, you're always speaking in iambic pentameter.
That is true. Leo's got me there.
How about you talk funny? Anyway, it says, hello, crew. Are you aware of any practical skills you've gained from your time playing video games? I'm fairly sure I'm better at following my GPS on mute while driving as a result of many hours spent following mini-maps in games like GTA. That's interesting. I never thought of that.
That is
I think-
actually a really good one.
I actually learned a ton about vocabulary and geography playing like Carmen Sandiego and all those other games back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
I can, I know where stuff is in the world now because of that. I think basically just due to that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything you need to know you learn from Carmen Sandiego.
Not everything, but
Okay.
some things.
Sure.
Aerial combos, I think,
Yeah.
is the big one.
Yeah.
The double jump.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while to figure that one out.
That's smart.
Tricky. I from playing Red Dead, I think I can identify animals by the noises they make better. I used to.
What's your favorite animal sound in Red Dead?
The bull elk.
What does
How's
that
that
sound
one
like?
go?
It's kind of like a.
Now you'll know what you're facing in the woods. That's
So
good.
if you hear that and it laughs at the end, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
One
Thanks.
time we were on like a family trip, and I think we were in like Yellowstone or something when I was little, and we bought like, I don't know, somewhere at Yellowstone National Park they were selling like the sounds of the forest or something, just like light, relaxing music you're supposed to listen to while at Yellowstone, over the hell. And we put it on, we're listening in the car, and it was just like twinkling piano. Then all of a sudden it's like, it's like the sound of an elk screaming. Scared the crap out of me.
What?
Do you want to hear what I go to sleep to?
Yes.
Oh boy, he's just ready to go.
Sure.
You ready?
Oh. You go to the bathroom before you go to sleep?
That's right. I'm constantly urinating in bed. But you can add all sorts of stuff to these things, like
Yeah. Wait.
flute. Like, why would you sleep to that?
Actually, I kind of dig that.
Constant note.
I think I could do that.
I listen to like white noise too when I'm on trips, just because we sleep in the same room as people, and it turns out everybody in this office effing snores except for Brian Shea, I believe. But that's nice.
I'm gonna get the flute ring.
Enter your dreamscape.
It's really like a
Think of Andy Mack serving you buffalo wings.
creamy sauce. There's no. Wow, that's a weird email.
You know what animal? I assume this is common, but maybe there's just a Minnesota thing because it's our state bird or whatever. But The loon is one of the most effed up sounding animals. Let me see if this
You got
is.
it?
I don't
Oh,
know. Maybe this
I
is
like this segment of just
Yeah,
sound.
we're just playing sound effects.
Hang on, the video is showing this loon. No, that's the
That's not-
nice
that's not
part.
that
No,
weird.
that's not the one I'm thinking of.
That's a loon, dude.
Well, I know it's a loon, but it's not the loon sound. They have other sounds.
Well, he said hello, so you're looking for a different word.
It's not the loon
This is
sound.
stupid. Okay, that's the
Oh.
loon whale. I don't want relaxing loon sounds. I want the loud one.
Those are the ones you go to sleep to.
Aggravating loon sounds.
Yeah.
Angry loon.
Ooh, here we go.
Okay.
It's called the haunting call of the common loon. Please be the one I'm thinking.
So this is the
Chills.
mating sound?
I don't know. What's more haunting than that?
That's pretty chill.
Come on, lose your mind, loon. No, loon.
That's a burb. Okay.
Come
Have you
on.
been scaring loons, Anson?
Oh yeah. Oh, hang it went underwater. It's unclear if it's making sound down there. I'm gonna find this stupid sound
right.
and plug it in. So
Okay.
help me
Okay.
God.
Well, should we react like we just heard it?
Sure.
Whoa, Hanson, you're
I'll
right.
never doubt you again.
Thank you. You do know loons. Let's see. Travis Manick from Lino Lakes, Minnesota. Loon country.
Man, a lot of
Luno
Michigan, a lot
lakes,
of
I call
Minnesota,
it.
a lot of loons.
Yeah. Bunch of loonies in our audience, dude. Oh, sorry.
Wow,
Sorry,
yeah.
Leo. Do you want to laugh into the mic? The last few months have given us plenty of unfortunate. Anyways, it's given us plenty of unfortunate news in the industry between polarizing Epic Store exclusivity, harassment stories, all that stuff. You constantly see gamers choose sides and draw lines in situations, choosing not to play games or no longer supporting developers for various reasons. But do you have the same luxury as a company? In a hypothetical world, let's say every single person at Game Informer had a moral or personal aversion to playing Cyberpunk. Would the game just not get covered, or would someone just have to draw the short straw and deal with it?
Every single person.
Yeah. What if just like the creators of Cyberpunk murdered
We
16
probably-
orphans?
Honestly, we probably wouldn't do it, and we'd probably put up an article about why.
Right.
In the case that for some reason every single person in the office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the director of this game is a serial killer, and they're keeping him on.
Right.
With all respects to the team, hopefully you don't get murdered, but
Uh-huh.
we can't cover this game in good faith. Kind
Right,
of thing,
right.
right.
Okay. I guess that's what it is. It'd
Yeah.
be bizarre. I bet that'd be really frustrating for
There's-
people out there. It's like, I just want to play the game, dude.
Yeah, yeah. That,
But
then play it.
obviously it's something very serious if every single person in the office has a hang
Right,
up.
right,
Yeah.
right. If they came in and stabbed Leo in the chest. Kevin in West Hartford, Connecticut says, "Hey GI, playing Control recently made me realize how much I love having infinite ammo. What mechanic do you love that immediately raises your opinion of any game that has it? Simple mechanic.
Having to sleep.
Immediately raises your opinion.
Having what?
Having to sleep at the
You-
end of a day in like an open world game.
You love sleeping in games?
I love having like an actual day-night cycle where you're not like, oh, I've been awake for 8 days and it doesn't matter.
Right, right.
You know? And like hunger and thirst and stuff, like little implementations of those mechanics.
So is it Minecraft you love?
Games like it.
Do you not like Minecraft?
I never got into it.
Oh, really? Have you given it a college try?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Damn it.
Was it just the look of the game?
Honestly, yeah. I like to think I'm bigger than that, but I like I like to look at a pretty game, and I just don't like looking at Minecraft.
Anything with like a rope, like a grappling hook, anything like that.
Oh, like I was gonna say, player choice. Whenever there's like options of like letting me decide. I know we just talked about Greedfall.
Like dialogue tree, like specifically,
or
like A or B?
moments. I immediately I'm intrigued by the options available or where it goes. I love that
right,
stuff.
right. And Dan, you just need no story whatsoever.
No, that's ridiculous.
voice
And you
actors.
got to stop propagating it. I get it.
Sure.
You know, honestly, that's got to stop.
Sure.
I like story. Okay, it just has
Okay.
to. It just. I find a lot of game.
But it's just
stories not
annoying
very
when you're
compelling.
playing like a simple little indie game and it's like, oh, we don't need like a lore build up for
A
this
good
world.
example is like Sun and Moon.
Oh, right,
I
exactly.
don't care. All right,
Yes.
just give me the Pokemon. Let's fight.
But don't you remember? How much do you remember from the story of Sun and Moon?
Nothing. That's the thing, right? And we spent so much time on it.
Yeah.
Like they make you go through every one of those
I
segments. Like
know.
now we're going into this Team Rocket area or whatever, and it's just like.
Well, that would be understandable. This is like Lily and her mother and the alternate dimensions and the Ultra Beasts. It's just
I don't have anything against story. I think
Okay.
games have a difficult time crafting a compelling tale.
Right.
But when they're there and they're good, that's awesome.
all for
Are
it.
you guys gonna have it out here? Is there some beef?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hanson is constantly promoting the fact that I don't like or care about story.
Because
the
you said
fact.
multiple times you don't care.
It's incorrect.
All right. I understand for some games, if they nail it, absolutely.
I think you and I are similar that way, Tech.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Right,
You
but
have an
Get to
ally.
the fun gameplay.
But to say that I don't care about it as an element is dangerous, I think.
Okay. I understand for like games you're reviewing, stuff like that. You don't like that idea out there, but you've said that a couple times.
It depends on the game. Some games
Okay.
don't need a story. And
Sure.
then that's fine. Let's just get into the gameplay.
Right. You're a systems guy more than a story guy.
Sure, I'm okay with that, yes.
Okay. That is the official statement. What do you guys like? Podcastinginformer.com.
That's it.
Best email.
I liked the TV shows one because all we do on this show is recommend games, and it's nice every once in a while to let you know something else that we're into.
That's true.
I like the Andy Dream.
Andy Cream
Because
Dream.
I think that guy needs a star.
All right. Look, I think he already got the star in
you
his
wanna-
mind.
Encourage that kind of email?
I don't know if I do. I like
I am more puzzled because, like, this is apparently a normal thing, and this is the only one Hanson chose to read. I can't even imagine the other things that come up through.
I like Favorite Weapon, or I like Sega or Microsoft.
Sega Microsoft is the winner.
All right.
That was
That's just gotta go along with it.
of the game talks. It's
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a
yeah.
unique comparison between two companies.
It's something I've never thought of, but it's a great question.
It is.
It is smart.
It's good.
All
It was
right,
a good
there
discussion.
we go. Adam from Connecticut.
Oh no, pick a different one. We need Midwest.
Yeah, wait, the East Coast.
How do we
no.
not have Midwest? Half
Is
those
there
emails were from the Midwest.
Anybody in South Dakota?
It turns out the East Coast is very smart with all their questions into podcastinginfo.com. So congratulations, Adam, and Connecticut in general. You're up on the big board. Congratulations. Hey, podcastinginfo.com.
Yeah.
Influence the show. Coming up now, ready to talk about the Dreamcast?
Ooh.
Let's do it. And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. Now we have Brian Shea, beautiful, and Jeff Cork.
Me again. What?
Truly the dream team. They've assembled from both parts
How
of the
does it get
podcast.
better?
We're talking about the Dreamcast. It was just the great Dreamcast anniversary on 9/9/2019. Jeff Cork, what
Yep.
is that face?
I don't know. It's become my default gazing
Quizzical
deeply
look.
into your eyes.
So we're talking about our 5 favorite Dreamcast games of all time. It's a nice
Yes.
time, 20 years down the road, to look back on that lovable, freakish little thing. And this is so specific, but like, I just saw somebody tweet out this video of them just starting up a Dreamcast, and just the physical sounds of pressing that button and hearing that whir. It's like, oh yeah, that really takes me back more than I could have possibly dreamed.
And then combine that with the little like opening animation that it does with the sound.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
What an unbelievable system. I think.
All right, thanks.
Are
That's
there
all.
people that hate the Dreamcast or that are lukewarm on it? I feel like everybody loves it as a freaky little underdog, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Cork, you wrote for a Dreamcast website.
Yeah, that's my first gaming job.
Tell us the story of that.
I worked for a Dreamcast website, so I wrote reviews and stuff like that back in the day.
What was it called?
Sega Web.
Can I find it on Internet Archive or something?
I don't know. You probably could.
How was your rating back then?
Flawless. So good. Yeah.
So-
I love it so much.
So you only reviewed Dreamcast games?
Yeah.
So you have a pretty good comprehension of the library for this sucker, right?
Fairly good.
Okay.
I like the Dreamcast.
Oh, that's great. What do you like about it?
I liked that it was a really interesting system because at the time when arcades were still being talked about in present tense, it was like the only way to get really, really good arcade ports. Like there was a weird
Right.
window where you would see like these polygonal games, as crude as they were, running at like a freakishly high frame rate when you'd go to like a movie theater or something, and like the Dreamcast replicated those like beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you think about the Dreamcast, Shay?
I really like it, turns out. I went to my neighbor's house and they had Sonic Adventure, and I really liked
Were
Sonic
they
as a kid.
sleeping?
No.
Oh. So you're invited to your neighbor's house?
So I was invited to my neighbor's house, and I played Sonic Adventure, and it just blew me the hell away. So I started mowing lawns in the neighborhood to save up for a Dreamcast and Sonic Adventure.
Just like at night, or?
Yeah, at night.
Okay. That's nice. And
They
you
call
got
me
it.
the night mower.
And then you got Sonic Adventure because you loved Sonic before that.
Yeah, I was a big Genesis fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, great. My list is a little bit funky for top 5 games because I never owned a Dreamcast, but this is definitely the era of my life where I was over at my friends' houses constantly, and like my main 3 friends back then all owned a Dreamcast. So it was a lot of playing a ton of games over at their houses. So my list is a little more superficial than the other ones, I'll say.
It was such a great like get together console because like the N64 had a lot of like split screen co-op and had the 4 controller ports, but like the Dreamcast, like Cork said, was so focused on those arcade experiences which are built for like playing with friends. So there's just so many games that are just like amazing, like pick up and play. You've never played this game before? It's fine. It's easy. Just jump in.
Also, compared to so many other controllers from gaming's past, I still like the Dreamcast controller. I think it feels so unique. I like the weird little bumps on the analog stick. I still think it holds up all right, other than the cord coming out the bottom, which is one of the dumbest decisions in the world.
I love that it beeps at you because the VMU batteries died.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You're too lazy to replace it.
Oh, God.
What a weird thing the VMU is.
Yeah,
by the
what do you
way.
remember from the VMU saga, Cork? Do you remember like first hearing about that,
Oh,
first
I thought
encountering
it seemed like, I think the gulf between the concept to execution vast. It seemed like a perfect idea. It's like, oh, this is going to be like a tiny Game Boy that could even be better because my progress carries over, and you're like, oh, this D-pad isn't great, and then it slowly turns into this D-pad is a crime.
What do you remember playing on there? Because for me, like it's just the Sonic Adventure taking care of the guys. Is there anything else notable on the VMU that we should know about here?
Oh, man.
I don't remember playing anything that I cared about, really.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I went back and looked at Game Informer's issue, which if you recall this September issue, it has a Dreamcast on the cover surrounded by TNT and it says Dreamcast ready to blow, which is fun. Yeah, and it's interesting hearing everybody's raw takes from Game Informer on the console because they had a pretty good read on it where it's like, we love it, we're excited for next gen, there's exciting stuff to play on here. At the same time, clock's ticking, Sega. Like you don't have much time before the next gen really rolls around.
Yeah,
in a big bad
PlayStation 2 is
way.
coming out real soon.
Yes, and then lo and behold, it did, and crushed everything else in its wake.
Yeah.
But still, such a fun window from like that 99 to 2001. Where it's just like it was just popping, and it's weird how consoles take on such like a flavor and a vibe in retrospect, and it's like for Dreamcast, it's just like, oh, vibrant colors, bright, happy music, done.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun? Whereas like PS2, what does that mean for you, Shay?
DVD player.
Gladiator on DVD. Yeah, exactly.
Vertical orientation.
Yes, exactly. And so in that Ready to Blow issue for Dreamcast, there's an interesting note where it's talking about different features of the system, and it mentioned online, and then it said, while the Dreamcast will ship with its promised 56K mode, online gaming won't become a reality until sometime in 2000. Exactly when? Nobody knows, not even Sega. It was that weird window where it's shipping, but apparently you couldn't play any online games. But I remember, like, right when Dreamcast launched, like, I was excited to boot up the web browser.
Yes.
On that and just like navigate, like, oh, I can see my old Angel Fire site like on a TV. This is so weird.
A lot of red X's on these sites.
Yes, exactly.
I don't even think that I knew that it could go online. So I remember I opened up my Dreamcast and it had that disc for like how to connect to the internet or like a web browser or whatever it was. And I was like, what the hell is this?
What the f***'s the internet?
I got a foul mouth for such a little boy.
Am I supposed to plug my system into the wall or something? Like the phone cable?
And what'd you do?
I didn't ever use it because I had no idea what to do.
It is fun going back to the library in the vault for the Dreamcast and looking through it and just seeing so many games where it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Like Bomberman Online and like all these games are just trying to capture that essence of online gaming in the earliest days for consoles at least, you know. So we've ranked our top 5 games. Should we go around the table?
Let's do it.
Brian Shea, number 5. Don't blow it.
Crazy Taxi.
There we go. What do you like about Crazy Taxi?
I think it was just like that party feel, just nonstop. Like the rush to like deliver passengers to places. The Offspring music just blaring from
so
start
much
to finish.
Offspring.
Except for the Xbox Live Arcade port, which somehow lost the rights to the
Did they
Offspring.
really?
So it's just like generic rock that sounds similar.
Can you imagine that?
It's
I hope that
awful.
wasn't the Offspring's call. I hope that was the record label or something.
Yeah, it had
Come
to
on,
have been.
you
like-
guys. I hope
or
they're
Sega
cool.
just not wanting to pony up the money.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it was just so much fun to like just drive around. It was San Francisco or like a city based off San Francisco, right? Like
Sure.
It was very hilly and there was KFC everywhere. And I thought that was like super weird, but kind of cool at the same time. Also,
Yeah.
like, oh wow, there's like real restaurants in here. Like, it's not just like, yeah, take me to Chicken R Us.
And that was definitely one of those like defining tone things for I think of like early demos or games that I played on the Dreamcast. Like Crazy Taxi is just so synonymous with that controller and that vibe overall.
Bowling mini game.
Yeah,
Oh,
hell
God,
yeah, all
yeah.
the favorites.
Yeah.
Remember when they released that mobile Crazy Taxi, like what, 5 years ago, something like that? And they've tried a couple times to poke the bear and see if anybody's interested, and the world collectively said no. Yeah, Jeff Cork, number 5.
Number 5, Toy Commander.
Oh,
God bless
yes.
you, Jeff Cork.
Yeah.
What is Toy Commander? Tell the plebeians out there.
Toy Commander, you're a little guy in a big world.
Yes.
And you're playing as toys in a house, and you're just doing missions. So some of them are ground-based, some of them are like you're like little toy airplanes and stuff, and it's got combat and racing.
and 4-player split screen. which
Four-player
was-
split
Oh, it's
screen.
so much fun.
I love Toy Commander. And it was always so weird because it's like, okay, well, who would be in a truck if you have planes and cool stuff like that for these toys? But I'm trying to remember exactly how it worked. But I remember like they're pretty loose with the rules. Like trucks can just drive on walls. It's just like you're
yeah,
all
they were like
over
ramps,
the place.
kind of like Mario World.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just on a different plane of existence
Yeah,
going around
exactly.
the world.
And the
basic-
aerial combat was so good in that game.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
being great, especially as like a huge Twisted Metal fan. Just for that being like the next game kind of in that lineage of fun for me with my friends. I'm like, oh, and now I can just fly around these environments in planes. Plus, it's all secretly adorable because they're all toys and no one's getting hurt.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. We
great
did
choice.
a replay on it, I think, a long time ago.
Really?
And it was super fun still.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were going another direction. For me, number 5 is an odd choice, but I loved playing this game on the Dreamcast back in the day at a friend's house. Tokyo Extreme Racer,
Ooh,
which I believe is
launch
a Square
title, right?
joint. Yeah, but it was early of when I launch. Yeah, but I remember there was a mode that I loved, and I haven't seen in other racing games. You'd think that Forza Horizon would rip this off or something, but it was like a 1v1 battle mode where each car had a health bar, and whichever car was in the lead, the car behind would slowly lose health. And it was such like a
Okay.
simple, just fighting game mechanic almost, but just I loved doing those 1v1 races against friends or against the computer and just having this like direct combat type of health bar in there. But yeah, Tokyo Extreme Racer, I like that game. Brian Shea, number 4.
Sonic Adventure.
There it is. There's the bad
There
boy
it is.
himself.
Here we go.
There we go. Obviously, the stunner out of the gate, right? What do you like about that game?
Just that memory of like, holy crap, like cutscenes with like a Sonic game, voice acting, like an open hub area to run around in, different gameplay mechanics for different characters. I loved the fact that I could select different characters, even if the Knuckles levels really suck.
Right.
And I liked the way like all the stories kind of gelled together into one final episode for like the final boss battle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked that game, and I got into the story, so I was like, yeah, I was all about that
You're
game.
into the story.
I was super into the story.
What is the story? There's like the weird
chaos. I love
yeah.
Chaos. I think Chaos is one of the best antagonists in the series.
Isn't it just like a blobby thing?
Yeah, but he transforms as he gets more Chaos Emeralds, so he grows into like a stronger being the further the story goes. So like, you
Yeah.
just keep fighting him, but he's like stronger every single time.
Oh, interesting. I love that game. Obviously, like graphical powerhouse, and I loved it. And I loved exploring it so much. And then last time I went back to it, it's just that stunning realization. Maybe it was on an episode of Replay or something. Of just like, oh, like they really don't guide you well on where to go or what the structure of this is. I think structurally, it's a bit of a mess. But is that fun? Was that fun back in that era of being like, it's a new generation. Maybe this is just what gaming is now, is we just wander around accidentally talking to Big the Cat 6,000 times as he says, "There, Froggy, where did you go?" over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of wandering in that, and like I think that was part of the fun of like just finally figuring it out. It wasn't as aimless as like other games of that era,
Yeah.
but also another thing is the soundtrack. I know a lot of people are very hot or cold on like the power metal, but like the stage level music is just unbelievable in that game. Also,
Yeah. I already mentioned it too, but obviously the chow raising?
Chow. Oh yeah, I
Chow?
forgot about the Chow Gardens.
Yeah, that was also very
Super
fun.
fun.
Like
Just feed them
especially
animals and train them.
Yeah, not too long after the era of Tamagotchi, right? So in 99, just having these chows to raise and evolve over time and name them, that was so much fun.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I didn't put it on my list, but shout out to Sonic Adventure 2. Not quite as good as 1, but still a lot of fun.
Rest in peace. Jeff Cork, number 4.
Seaman.
Okay, Jeff Cork, quit your joking. Really, number 4.
Yeah, I like Seaman a lot.
Tell us the saga of Seaman.
Seaman is very strange. It's a game that has a microphone in it, and basically you hatch these little things from an egg, and then they have a tadpole form, and then they eventually turn into like the seaman form, and it's a fish with a face. You've probably seen pictures of it if you haven't played it.
Or you've had a nightmare at some point.
I've got
in
a
your
nightmare
life.
about it, and it's, I don't know, I found it super fascinating.
And then you're
you
talking
talk to it with
like
the microphone and have conversations. It's not a huge dialogue, but it'll ask you things, and it will remember them and reference them later on.
what type of stuff?
What's your birthday? I just wanted someone to ask.
Are you
loved
happy?
you. Yeah.
Do you think you still have any old saves or any Seaman living that knows
Oh.
secrets about you from your past?
Oh no, it's probably just like cloudy water at this point.
So have you ever killed a man?
Yeah.
Ever seen a
Yes.
grown man naked?
Yeah.
It's used as evidence later on.
It wasn't Leonard Nimoy.
He did the narration of it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like you do these transitional things because eventually there's like another form where they're basically frogs with a little guy face on it.
Oh, really? Oh, I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
Huh. Would that game be fun to go back to in any way?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have not done it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Number 4 for me, The Great Toy Commander.
Hmm.
Brian Shea, number 3.
There were a lot of really great sports games on the Dreamcast, the NFL 2K, the NBA 2K series.
Hell yeah.
I went with Virtua Tennis.
Virtua Tennis. Great choice.
Terrific game. It's like that perfect balance of like kind of like just faithful tennis gameplay, but also like super arcadey and pick up and play.
But also like the RPG mechanics is the part that killed me because it's like you mentioned it's arcadey, but there's those like training mini games, right? Where it's like, okay, here you have to hit the bowling pins or do these different
Yeah.
mini game objectives to raise different skill sets for your character, like going throughout the entire game. I love that.
I think in the first one it might have just been high score based, but in the second one they added like a career mode, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that right? Okay.
But yeah, they were both super fun.
Yeah.
And it
Timeless.
totally got me into tennis.
Really?
Yeah, like before Virtua Tennis, I had no interest in tennis. And then like 2 years after playing Virtua Tennis, I actually tried out for my high school tennis team and made it.
Wow. And you said where are the bowling pins?
Yeah, I was very confused.
Nice. How'd you do in high school then as a tennis star?
I did okay.
Did you have a good team dynamic?
We won the county championship my senior year.
Wow.
That was cool.
This was Make Believe County. You know, some things don't go well. That sounds great. Virtua Tennis. Jeff Quirk, number 3.
Armada.
What is that?
Armada. It's
familiar.
a like top down. The battles are somewhat similar to. Have you ever played Star Control 2?
No.
So it's basically an open world space game, looking down on the action, customizable ships, open world, maybe like a original GTA style kind of a thing. But yeah, making spaceships. You can play it with other people online.
Really?
Yeah,
Should I go back and look at gameplay for this? This sounds interesting.
it's super cool. I think you'd really get a kick out of it.
Armada.
Armada.
Weird.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me was Sonic Adventure.
Yay!
Brian Shea.
Power Stone 2.
Power Stone 2
Two.
specifically.
Yes.
All right, help me. Do you remember the differences between 1 and 2 in a big way?
It was much bigger, like battlefields, more characters. I forget.
There's like item
what it-
fusion.
Yeah, there's
right?
like you can fuse items. You can like customize characters. Like there were a lot more like systems at play, you know, and also like just the chaos of every single match was just ratcheted up like by 1,000. Like you could jump in like these giant airships and use the turrets to blow up your friends, and it was great.
It was nice to have like a game like that that has kind of the spirit of Smash Brothers, not the characters necessarily, but just kind of the overall party game vibe, but still complex enough to maintain your interest. And that's really like the magic of the Power Stone series, where every character is so wildly different, and then you're not just going to play one round and be like, okay, I think I've
Yeah.
had enough. Like there's enough going on in each stage and variety there to keep it interesting for extended periods.
It's so awesome to like collect all those. Like what is it? Like you collect 3 stones, and then you could transform into like this ultimate form and just
Right. One of the characters I remember
crap out of
basically
everyone.
just went like Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one was like got like the Super Sentai suit, like the Power Ranger suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
It's crazy in the age of, you know, a lot of good local multiplayer party games that they haven't brought Power Stone back.
Like even like just a re-release or like a remaster
I
or
know.
something like, or you know, Power Stone 3.
Is it too
all I
much
want.
to ask?
It's all I want.
I'm sure it'll be at E3 within the next 3 years. Jeff Cork,
Yes.
number 2.
Number 2. Let's see. How about Power Stone? We'll keep it in the family.
Ooh.
I like the first one. I went with the classic.
Ah.
I do like Power Stone 2 a lot, but my heart beats harder for the first
It was
one.
a tough call for me.
It
so.
has like one of my favorite sound effects. I can't remember who does it. There's like a punching sound effect where when it connects, it's like a strong attack. It sounds like a wooden block. It's like a hollow kind of a sound. It's very
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy spins when he gets hit,
Yeah.
right?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you remember playing that a lot with friends? Were you in college in this era, or?
I was out of college, but I did have roommates, so we
Okay.
played a lot
Oh,
together.
that's great.
Yeah, it was super.
And I want to say Power Stone 1 was that only 2-player?
Power
Power Stone 4 or Power Stone 2 was 4-player. I know
think
that.
the first one was also
okay.
4 players. Yeah. For me, my number 2 is Power Stone.
Very
Oh,
good.
I love it.
I
All
really
right.
hope we don't all have the same one, which I can guarantee we don't.
I guarantee
what
we
was,
don't.
What was
my-
your favorite sound effect? Shut up, Jay.
Yeah, the punching. Brian Shea,
Nice.
number 1.
Shenmue.
Number 1 favorite Dreamcast
At
game.
that point in my life, it was among my favorite games of all time.
So are these games like 5 games you owned? Is that what's happening here?
No, look, a lot of people love Shenmue out there.
At the time, it was incredible. Now, I mean, it hasn't aged particularly well, but
It's just so unique.
yeah, and it like really changed my perspective on like what could be fun in a game, because like watching somebody play Shenmue was just torture.
Yes.
But like when you actually got in and played and you're like doing the dumb like just driving a forklift around or playing darts at the arcade, like
Opening a drawer.
Closing the drawer.
it was surprisingly fun back in the day.
Yeah, no, that's exactly my memory of it. Is just like playing it for a little bit and thinking, well, this is unique. I'm good, But like, I love that a game can exist that's this slow.
Yeah.
Fascinating choice, Brian. Shea.
Thanks.
Are you looking forward to Shenmue 3?
I haven't ever played Shenmue 2. So
What a weird call. All right, Jeff Cork, number 1.
Skies of Arcadia.
There it
Nice.
is. There's the
Yeah.
big boy.
There we go.
Awesome. What do you love about this game? Cork?
I love so much about Skies of Arcadia. It's a really great setting. It's kind of a swashbuckling JRPG.
Yeah.
It's so much fun getting in your ship. There's like ship battles and then
The
exploring
ship
the
battles
world.
are so weird. It's like that weird grid-based, more kind of like strategic about like maneuvering, stuff like
yes,
that.
very much dependent on positioning.
Yeah.
And like you can blow past the other guy if you're like moving incorrectly and nothing happens.
Right.
They did have a GameCube re-release, which was superior.
It added
because,
what, like a new character or something?
The biggest change was they reduced the number of random encounters because that was it was pretty excessive in the original version.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I absolutely love Skies of Arcadia.
I watched like friends of mine play so much of that game. It just seems so good.
Yeah.
And then when I started at Game Informer, I was like, oh, I can finally get Skies of Arcadia
Yeah.
Legends on my GameCube, and brought that home and started it. And like, it still starts so strong because I remember I brought it home and started it the exact same time that Final Fantasy 13-2 came out, and like playing those games back to back.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, one is like an interesting subtle tale, and you're starting off on an interesting adventure. And then 13.2 is just a wave of text that just numbs you to your effing core.
Yeah.
It's just like, but there's something so positive and such a good old-hearted adventure about going on, learning about Vice and his sky pirates and all that stuff.
one of the party members you get is like this weird little blob alien thing, and then if you feed him these items that you earn, he like can transform into like increasingly complicated shapes. I think he follows the T-1000 rules, so he can't turn into a gun or
Right.
all these stabbing weapons, but like he gets some like hammers and swords and stuff. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
let's see if Ben Hansen blows it for the entire group, because there's one glaring omission to this point from all of our lists.
Soul Calibur.
Grandia 2. Oh, no, it's not Grandia 2. Or Soul Calibur. I'm going with Virtua Tennis. This is my number 1.
Oh, there we
Probably the game I
go.
had the most fun with. But again, superficial, just visiting a friend's house. I feel bad we didn't mention Grandia 2. But yes, Soul Calibur seems like the biggie, right? Did you
Yeah.
play Soul Calibur, Shay?
I loved it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a
Not
really
top
good game.
5 loved it, but of course.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that is one of the reasons I didn't put it on my list, because I was so sure one of you was going to put it
Oh,
on your list.
really?
So for the sake of diversity, I did
Oh
not put it on my
no,
list.
Gift of the Magi.
Also, I regret not playing more Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes,
Two.
two.
That's great too.
Yeah, that 1 and 2 were on that system. It's like, I don't know how I completely dodged that back in the day.
I also think that Soul Calibur 2 is vastly superior to the first one.
Oh, hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird looking at the library overall. It's like, oh, I forgot like they ported Resident Evil 2 to the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
There's so many weirdo things you forgot they put on that system.
There's a Cool Borders game, apparently.
Is there really?
But I think it only was Japan, because that's the only version we have.
Huh. Now look, I didn't do this myself.
Oh.
Because I'm a good noble boy and I didn't own a Dreamcast, but I just remember piracy being absurd because you could literally just burn discs. And in that era, that was like peak Kaza, Morpheus, Napster, all that stuff. And so it's like, oh wait, we can literally just burn these games and put them in a Dreamcast. So I just remember friends having like spindles upon spindles of burned games. That's why like I played a little bit of all these things, right?
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't pirate much stuff back then. And yet-
Also,
yeah.
Dead or Alive 2. I know that series gets kind of a weird rap these days, but like back then, that was like a super solid fighting game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Any other memories you want to share about the beloved Dreamcast?
The beloved Dreamcast. I love it. I think it's a testament to it. Like, I could have easily done a top 10. I think I went with my 5 that I just have such fond personal memories. I don't say
Yeah.
they're the best, but we do need another Skies of Arcadia game.
It is absurd
Yeah.
that they haven't made a new one.
Yeah. It's very
What are they
frustrating.
doing? Instead, Sega's funding 16,000 total war games a year.
I think that they
Turns
should.
out they sell.
Wow. Yes, but
That's what I'm
still.
nostalgic for.
Right, exactly. I want RPGs, turn-based RPGs, where the characters scream the moves 6,000 times, and you have to hear her say, "Back off, Alpha Storm," over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Like the good old days.
Yeah, but keep making Sonic. Nah.
That's the Dreamcast, everybody. Feel free to write into podcast@gameformer.com with your favorite Dreamcast games. Let's dive in more.
And was that the best release date of all time, too?
$9.99.
Yeah.
It's great. That's it. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this overall episode of the Game Informer Show podcast, everybody. We appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us. Jeff Cork, any closing thoughts?
Nope.
Great. Love you, everybody. Bye.